got dark all of a sudden too. It's sprinkling outside. But
from noon to 2, we'll be inside, and from 5 to 9, it's going to be really windy and kind of stormy.
Yeah.
We're in this window where we can be safe.
Well, we're okay for now. Anyway, hi, are we ripping and rolling?
We are.
Hello, are we on YouTube and Rumble? Are we on Rumble? And anyway, hello, howdy, how you doing? It's only me. It's only the Kimmer Show podcast number 533. It's the 27th of February. 2023 as we speak. How's it going? It's only me. It's only the Kimmer, Pete Davis, sidekick, producer, sports raconteur extraordinaire. Now, being Monday, I assume later today.
Later today.
Of course, I'm going to talk about your whole moving thing. Down to a southern suburb of McDonough, but we're not going to get too specific of where it is. So the woods of the southern woods of McDonough, the famous southern Georgia woods. What? Anyway, so we'll get to that a little later. And
I wouldn't look there.
Our schedule. No. Hey, no. It's at least you're not a dick hater. I mean, a dick hater.
That's true.
Anyway, Pete Davis. So I assume later today, perhaps, or maybe tomorrow.
Yep,
Sports.
it'll be the last show from the banks of the Etowah River.
I'll be damned. And so you'll be. Well, that's good. So we'll talk about it.
Maybe the last show ever if I can't get the internet.
Holy crap! It's sports. Yeah. Now that could be a thing.
I'm moving to a place that literally cannot get cell service.
Okay, and again, this was on purpose. You wanted to be
There's
there,
a place in the state of Georgia that you cannot use your cell phone.
How is that possible? I mean, really, seriously.
They
don't have satellites that go down through the freaking trees.
I could actually go use Elon's Starlink because it goes right overhead. I could hook up to that.
It's unbelievable.
I could probably do that.
I mean, seriously, how is it possible that not everybody has this? Satellites go everywhere, right?
Oh, I have it. If I walk down to the stream and stand to the right corner of the picnic table,
I think we have a solution.
There's a hotspot.
You put a little tent down there.
It's only about 50 yards away.
Put a little tent down there. Make it your official office. You can tax deductible and everything. I love it. Anyway, and Flounder, the mechanical mangler at the controls here at El Condo, Flounder. And Lucas the podcast is running around here like a maniac. He just now you mentioned Flounder over the weekend, whatever day it was. You had his nails clipped but not taken out, right?
No, so I just every 4 to 6 weeks you're supposed to get their nails clipped because they're claws.
I've had cats all my life, and I'm trying to remember. I don't remember ever getting their nails clipped.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm sure your better half at the time did it.
Probably so. But again, I mean, that's got to be a process. How they sedate him, or
no? I actually
hold his hand and pull his.
Well, I have a little suitcase bag. I'm able to get them in, and then I take them. There's a Petco on Holcomb Bridge. I take them to, and they do it in under 5 minutes.
They hold him down and squeeze his nails out.
I didn't watch. I went and actually got some cat food. So
I wonder how they do. Can you imagine holding down a cat to clip his nails?
But she said the lady said she was that he's a great cat and he was super chill. So
I'll be damned.
She goes, I have a cat, and he's not like that.
And there he is
nice
now.
Asian lady.
Just jumped up to see Daddy. Anyway, and Pete Davis, we'll talk about your weekend. And by the way, we have a whole bunch of stuff to talk about. Oh, and I got some giveaway things, too. And we'll talk about what Pete did this weekend. And I got something. I'm kicking myself for an opportunity that would have been great. And it wasn't for me. I'll tell you about the whole thing in a minute, shortly. But first. Shortly. And we'll do the stories on a well-known, famous former media personality who set a standard or paved a way for broadcasting in Atlanta, in Georgia. Atlanta's first black TV reporter. You know this name, Jelks.
Never heard of him.
Lorenzo Jelks. Jelks. He came in 1967 at WSB TV. Monica Pearson says he was, led the way, opened the door. He's her hero. He just passed away at the age of 83. And I remember him from the early 70s. I don't remember. At Channel 2 TV. And anyway, he passed away. Listen to this.
Dave Michaels also died recently?
What's that?
Dave Michaels, remember him? He was. Remember when they brought in the 11 Dead or Alive?
Well, I was going to say that was Virgil Dominic. Remember when 11? I used to call it 11 Dead or Alive. But he 11 Alive.
He wasn't that face when they hit you with the. What was her name? The weather girl, Gail Janis, and the News Hawk, and Steve Summers, the idiot sports guy.
That came a little later, I think, but the original was Virgil Dominic.
Dave Michaels was the
And wasn't that hot blonde chick the one that's been married like 9 times before she was 35? I can't remember what. I think she's the weather girl or something, and she was a hot blonde, and she was like she had like 34 years old, and married 5 times or something, and she was having an affair with one of the anchormen or something, or maybe married him.
Virginia Gunn. Ooh, she was.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them. Anyway, but here's listen. This is why I mentioned this story. Not only because the poor man died, but he's 83, so you can't really say much about that. But here's the way they described it. He helped her with one sort of 1961 was operating a little radio station, and Atlanta got a call from Channel 2. Quote: "He will become the first Negro TV newsman in Atlanta." His hometown paper, now called the Tampa Bay Times, reported in its June 5th, 1967 edition, still calling black people Negroes in the media.
Hold on there, Dilbert.
Holy criminy. Yeah. I mean, I don't remember that. 1967?
Oh, yeah. It was the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People.
I was in the Marines, but you didn't say Negro.
Oh, yeah.
No, that was when it was all you had to say African American. That's when the whole civil rights
African American didn't show up to the 80s.
Well, I don't remember that at all. I'm flabbergasted. The first Negro TV newsman.
You weren't living here.
I didn't get here till 72. Holy crappity rappity. And he said, and initially Channel 2 was afraid to show his face on the air, fearing backlash from white people. All they saw was the sign, Lorenzo Jelks reporting, in white letters on a black screen.
That'd be blacklash.
And he said, I didn't complain about it because I didn't have any control over it. Yeah. But again, he was the first, and he died at 83. Low Jelks. Which is a shame. A couple quick. I'm sorry. I was going to tell you about what our rundown is today. We'll be talking about the cartoon Dilbert, and you'll hear from him this whole business of canceling racism and so forth. Also, Marjorie Taylor, the media took an opportunity to bash Marjorie Taylor Greene while they were at it. So what she said lately, which is also pretty interesting. We'll talk about a bunch of things from the Babylon Bee, including what's going on now in Ohio. Oh, Gesundheit, sir. Also, did you? Oh, double Gesundheit. Oh,
real quick, have y'all? Do you guys have y'all's allergies been acting up the past week?
I sneeze and all day, all night. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's because of the bakery habit. I'm talking about, are you having any seasonal issues?
No. And I just went to my heart doctor and had my lungs that are clear as a bell, and I said, which I can't believe. So obviously, it's not. I don't have lung cancer that we know of. Anyway, sorry.
So allergies.
Who had Kimmer's doctor on the bingo board? Anyway, we'll get to it. Did you see the stuff about the Arizona governor, the new girl who refused even to campaign, didn't have to because she was on the take by the cartel? Oh my God!
They run the state.
And by the way, that isn't reported anywhere, I guess, except Twitter and Fox News. I mean, it's just here we go again. It's the media. I promise you, if you are under 40 years old, this is not America. This is not real. You're living in a twilight zone of freedom of information. It's not real.
So does Kara Lake? What does she do now that this has come to fruition? But the thing is, if she says something, does the cartel come after her and her family?
Well, we can only hope. I'm serious. If she's in bed with a cartel in order to become governor of Georgia, of Arizona, sorry. Speaking of, Stakey, big fat loser. If she's in cahoots with a cartel for her own political benefit, I don't care if they come after her. If it comes out and she says, complains about it or whatever, and they go after her, fine, you deserve it. If you're in there,
you got in bed with them in the first place,
you're going to get cooties. I do not feel sorry for you. If she's in bed with a cartel, screw her. They come out, they slaughter her. Fine. What a shame.
The federal government's in bed with the cartels. They could end it overnight if they wanted to.
Yeah, I know. Well, anyway, so we'll talk about that. Also, Chick-fil-A is tired of rowdy kids in their restaurants. I don't blame them, and you'll hear what they're doing about it, at least in one particular place. Also, the 2-year-old Fink This kid is is going to be a great story. We may play we have a little comedy thing of Bill Burr, which has some bad words in it. Also, can you believe the Woody Harrelson thing? I mean, what? We'll mention it. It's not a big deal. We'll spend 30 seconds talking about it Saturday Night Live, but it's not a big deal. But it's part of the wokeness and the comedy thing. In fact, I was reading, and I was thinking about making an issue, and I didn't, but I'm going to mention it now, so it's kind of an issue. Patrick Warburton, the guy who played Putty on Seinfeld and all those roles and so forth. The Tick. I'm sorry?
The Tick.
Yeah. And he just was interviewed, I guess it was a podcast or an article or something, and he said, I used to apologize for the role I played on Family Guy, where he played the crippled police officer.
Oh, yeah.
And he said, I used to apologize, but for making fun of him and now he says, now you know what? He said, this is like today. I read this morning, and he said, I'm done apologizing. It's comedy. It's just a role. It's not a thing. It's not real.
I mean, in a sense,
it's just astounding that this is such a thing still.
I mean, in some sense, if you're offending people, your comedy is working.
Well, it's comedy.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's a
and
joke.
If you don't like it, then say, "Oh, I don't like that," and move on.
Yeah, that comedy didn't fall in your lap.
All change, good and bad, that's happened on this planet is because someone got offended. Until you offend somebody, no one gets off their ass and does something about it.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's unbelievable. Anyway, so we'll talk. We got a couple of woke things like that, including some stuff from the Babylon Bee. And the Woody Harrelson jinx quickly. Pete's going to tell us about, speaking of woke stuff or leftist stuff, Brad Paisley's getting some reaction to various things. Also, more on the Alabama basketball player and the gun charge. I'm not sure what's going on there other than... And the ending to the Braves game, bases loaded. We're definitely going to talk about that, too, as well.
Not getting enough irateness from that, I've noticed.
I haven't heard that. I
saw
like
laughing
two
it off right now, and it's like... But if they do this in the regular season,
can you imagine?
You spend $500 taking your family to a game, and that's how it ends.
Yeah, that's how it ends. Get out, everybody!
It's going to hit the field.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we'll talk about that too. A couple of things. First of all, remember last week we got a very nice thing from James, the Sass Man, who sent me a day wallet. If you don't want to take a wallet in the store, he made up these little paper wallets made out of American flag type paper and stuff, and they're a little foldable wallet. You can fold it up your credit card or whatever, put it in your driver's license, and off you go instead of having a big wallet. Well, when I talked about it and told him what a big fan I was of it, he made each one for each of you guys. So there. So Flounder, here's your wallet.
What's this white powder in
James, it's no, there's no money in it. The man did enough.
The fentanyl.
But he.
Wow.
Oh, by the way, did you see that thing going around on Twitter about speaking of fentanyl?
The folded dollar?
No. If you go to your car and somebody's put like a napkin or something in your door handle, and you brush it away, it's got fentanyl in it enough to kill you.
Well, they say that there's also the folded dollar bill on the ground. Don't pick it up.
Don't pick up stray paper. Don't do anything anymore. This is worse than the Tylenol scare from the 80s.
And you know why we're having this? Because the federal government will not shut down the border and stop it from coming over.
Where it's all coming from. And they know it. And
they know it, and they don't give a damn about us.
Anyway, the quick note from James. He said... Nice. Everything is within walking distance for me. I know it's a very blue area, though. I lean right. Hope things get better. If they don't, I guess we can all move in with Pete and build the compound. The compound. Anyway, so thank you, James. That's very, very, very
I asked him, is there a name for the place? And he thought a second. He says,
the Pines of North Georgia.
He said, were you thinking of giving it a name? And someone said Pete's Retreat. And then we laughed and said, no.
Well, no, that'd be great. No, I mean, what do you suppose the most popular name of a subdivision is? The Knoll of Pinewood
Summer
Glade.
Isle or Summer Park. Or
the Glade Woods of Pine,
I love the ones that name it after something that's not within 1,000 miles of it.
Yeah, the Lakes of O'Hare or something. A quick thank you to our friend, basically our podcast sponsor, Denise, once again, has forked over some more money with love and thank you. Joseph, the M-Man, gave us a summary. He said, I switched from Patreon to Venmo for my monthly subscription. Enjoy the show. Thank you. Well, no. Thank you. That's wonderful. And again, if you just go to thekimmershow.net, open it up there, and you can, first of all, you can click the YouTube thing and subscribe. It's free, and then you're done forever. You don't have to worry about it, but it gives us a click, which counts. And also, you can see the Venmo screen, which is right somewhere, and you just put your camera on, just point it, and it'll do it, and you can send it.
Does it alert people that the show's starting?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
What, Rumble? Or
Rumble does, yes.
Rumble does? Oh. Does Facebook?
I mean YouTube.
I'm not sure.
I'm sorry. I mean YouTube. I'm still
YouTube.
Living in the past.
I think YouTube does, because remember, if you subscribe, you can get a notification for when something's uploaded.
Uh-huh.
But I'm not sure, because I know you upload horse videos too.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. I know on Rumble it does. Not sure on YouTube.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, hold on a second. Here we go.
Scooter says the Hiawassee Hilton. Which could work, or maybe couldn't work, because I may be in Hiawassee, I may not be in Hiawassee.
The Blue Mountain Blue Balls. I don't know. I'm just
Blue Mountain Blue Balls. I don't know. There is a name for it, but I'm not going to say what it is.
No, you wouldn't want to tell the name. Let's see.
Hyannisport. We're calling it Hyannisport.
Hyannis. Oh, there you go. I've been there. In fact, that's where I got arrested, I think.
What?
Yeah.
You never. Oh my God! It's a story he's never told.
I know.
You got arrested at the Kennedy compound, and you never told us.
Well, I don't know that it's important for all of us to know everything about my past. I spent all the time in jail.
We know everything about your past.
No, you
over
know,
and
I've told
over.
this. It's a story about with a car when I was 16.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right, we know it then. Yeah, okay.
Everybody who's listening now has heard the story, so there's no sense in giving it. Who had the Kimmer teenage lost his license story on the bingo card? In fact, that was not listed. I lost my license at the age of after I had it for 3 months and lost it for a year because my father wouldn't give in and taught me a lesson.
That's on it.
All right, well, there you are.
Your father went and took away your car. That was on it.
Let's see. Oh God, I got so many things here. I want to get to all the newsy
stuff.
Okay. First of all, thank you all the comments on. I put yesterday was a bad day for me. A memory of Jack, the good boy who passed a year ago yesterday, and I spent most of the day going through his videos and putting a lot of things I had on Facebook, or not on my personal Facebook page and on Rumble and some YouTube and stuff like that. And then and I didn't go to the stable. I just couldn't go to the stable yesterday. So anyway, so Flounder about like 2:00. I said to myself, you know what, crap, I'm gonna get out. I got to get out of the house. I threw my golf clubs in the car. I was gonna call you. And then I thought to myself, you know what? It's a beautiful day. Maybe not beautiful, but it was warm. And I thought, I'll guarantee it. It's going to be mobbed. And if I call him and he meets me over there, and we, whatever. So sure enough, I drive all the way out to the place. It was not only was it crowded, there was no place to park. I had to drive in and wait for people to do the back forth, because there's no turnaround to try to get out of there again.
Is that
never got out of my car.
Is that on Cox Road?
No, it's on Holcomb Bridge Road, eastbound from 400.
I don't know that one.
Yeah, it's called Deer Run or Deer Valley or something like that. Deer Valley, I think.
The Meadows at Deer Valley.
Might be Deer. It's Deer something. Anyway, and it's got grass hitting area and mat hitting area, which is why I wanted to go to hit off grass because you can't find it anywhere.
A place off Cox Road.
I know I'm not sure if they have a grass hitting area, though. A lot of them don't. In fact, Flounder, after that, and I'm glad that I knew if I'd called you, it would have been a mistake, and I was ticked off of myself. Never got out of the car. So I drive to River Pines, which is another 15 miles over where I used to play. We used to play there almost every week for years and years back then. Okay, it was beautiful. We had hit off the grass every day for range and everything else. Now they only hit off grass on weekends to save the grass. So I got up there, was it Sunday, and we're on mats even on the weekend because there's nothing but dirt. I mean, it's just incredible. Anyway, so I'm glad I didn't call you, but one of these days we'll go play. We'll get balls. Maybe later this week. Okay, sorry. Let's see. And a very nice, speaking of messages, one more quick, just a very nice message from one of our listeners, Craig, a little jarhead buddy. And Craig says, do you remember when you had your heart attack and Nurse Annie let you know her mom, Judith, was a big fan and you called her to wish her a happy birthday from the hospital? This was in 2013. This was 10 years ago. Judith was a big fan. You called her to wish her a happy birthday from the hospital. Yes, I do remember that very well. Judith is my neighbor, and she wanted me to let you know that she still appreciates the phone call on her birthday. Crazy how small the world is. Huh?
It's been 10 years since we went back on the radio.
10 years.
God, it doesn't seem like 10 years, maybe 6.
10 freaking years.
A decade.
Yeah. 1991 is more than 30 years ago. How about that? I hate stuff like that. I just don't, that's wrong. It's wrong. It's going way too fast. In fact, that was, I think I took a picture. I know I took a picture of and I'm not sure it was this nurse. I think it was a different nurse, but there was one of my nurses at North Fulton Hospital when I had my heart attack 10 years ago, had the most beautiful long red hair. Do you remember? I mean, I took her picture and showed it. She had the most beautiful, thick, long red hair. It's like she could have been a model for everything. And they were great. God, I remember. And I had great food. The food was fabulous. Gravy and mashed potato after a heart attack. I mean, I couldn't believe it was anyway. So thank you for the kind memory. Now, speaking of redheads, something happened yesterday. And I'm kicking myself, and I don't know why, other than it would have been great, not really for me, although I would have made me feel fantastic, and it might have actually led to something, but for the missed opportunity. Okay, here we go. I was at the Publix. Was it yesterday or Saturday? I might have been. I don't know. Whatever it was. So I'm at the Milton Publix. Okay. The Milton Publix, and I'm ready to take off, and I turned right to go out of the parking lot, and right on my left side, facing the other way, is a great big fire truck, Milton fire truck, big, the long red. If it wasn't a hook and ladder, it was one of the big long. It wasn't a rescue van. It was a big long fire truck. Okay, now if you think about this for a second, on great big fire trucks, if you think of their front end, they actually have what is more like a shelf on the front of the fire truck. Have you noticed that before? It sticks out about 4 feet with a big metal bar in front of it, and it's like a big shelf. In the front of the fire truck, they put hoses on or whatever, so it's an extra carry case, and it's like carrying a big shelf in front of the fire truck. Okay. So I'm in my car. I turn the corner to go out of the parking lot, and I see to my left, there's a fire truck parked there, and sitting on that front bumper is a fireman girl in her full uniform, looking exhausted, with her beautiful red hair kind of loose and flying and totally natural, looking as though, oh man, what a day on the job as a fire girl, man. And I'm telling you, if I said, oh my God, I should get that picture, that would make an incredible poster or an ad, or I mean, it was. I'm telling you, it was one of the most beautiful pictures of that girl. And I don't know whether it was the expression on her face or the fact that she was. And in fact, when I started to turn in my car, my window was down, and I gave her the thumbs up, or I gave her a salute. I think I kind of went like this, or a thumbs up kind of thing, and she did the little smile. And her hair was wild, and she looked exhausted in her uniform. Yeah. Oh my God! And it was. I mean, it was a perfect visual.
And why didn't you take it?
Well, I said, okay, and I thought, that's what I thought to myself, oh my God, I got to get that picture. So I had no place to park because I had people behind me and I had to get off the thing. So I went up about 50 yards and finally parked before I got out of the parking lot, got out of my car, and I was doing that. 2 other firemen were coming out of the Publix with stuff for them together to go on and do their thing. So then I would have had to yell, hey, boy, guys, hold on a minute. I want to take a picture of your girl firefighter. Or something. It would have been stupid. But I'm telling you, if I'd have taken that picture, you would have seen that picture and gone, oh my God, what a great shot. And if it had been my wife or girlfriend or whatever make a poster out of that thing or advertise and sell it as a picture oh my God, make a fortune on that baby.
Well, as you can imagine, we're getting some feedback about this
Well,
story.
They probably wish they were there with me.
Yes, you're right. Sophia, here we go.
Oh, well, you don't have to go any farther. Just say Sophia. Thank you, Sophia. Hey, I got a little something for you right here.
Here we go. This story will fill my card. And Blaine said, I should have got the bingo card ready. And Mark said, you should have given her a fish. They're funnier than we are. They should do the
They
show.
we co-hosts. Oh, mercy. Anyway, I'm telling you, it was, and I to this second, I still think, man,
You
what a
know,
golden
Think
opportunity.
about this a second. Do you think people would pay to come sit here and co-host for a show?
$300.
$300, and you can sit here for an entire
for
show.
2 hours and say whatever you can be part. You can interrupt us. You can say I don't want to talk about that. You can critique Sophia. You can critique us. You can rad. You can like Larry Munson did every time I spoke on the freaking radio when he was on.
two. Larry
Who
Munson.
had Munson hates the Kimmer?
There will be $1,000 convenience fee for the owner. So
$1,000 could be.
There you are. Anyway,
Let us know.
And in fact, we joke, but joke about Venmo. The fact of the matter is, we have to come to a decision on whether we're going to make this pay per listen or not at some point. Because I mean, and again, I've been to the post office box. There's been like three cards of over the last 10 days or so, which is nice. But $100.
It's gotta
total
be-
split 3 ways is not really paying the mortgage. So which is
gotta be-
I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
I hate Stephen saying it. I'm embarrassed.
It's a business, and if business doesn't work, it doesn't work.
That it doesn't work,
It's
yeah.
got to be worth the drive. Let's put it that
Right.
way.
At some point, we have to decide. And then the problem is if we go pay per listen only, and everybody says screw it, it's not worth $4 a month to listen, then it's over. And then God knows what.
Then you're just stuck
my
with
age.
holy crap, it's sports. And that's,
Well, do you need a co-host at all?
well, if you move up.
Founder, do they have any openings? We could do weekend. Can do a weekend show. $200 a weekend show if they could.
not up to me, unfortunately.
If Rhino can drive all the way in from Hiawassee, good
Oh
Lord.
my God. Anyway, let's see. Oh, I feel like a know-it-all in a smarty pants. I'm sorry. I'm an ego thing, and I'm having a ball with it. Over the weekend, Brian Kilmeade doing a show. He had on his show, one of his guests was Dr. Drew what's his name? Pinsky. Drew Pinsky. Might be Pinsky, I think. Anyway,
Didn't he used to do a show with Adam Carolla?
he might. I don't.
Yeah.
He's a pretty well-known media guy and an internist and a doctor of various things. And he was talking. They were talking about wokeism and social media and stuff like that. Now, put on your old memory cap here. Dr. Pinsky made the point, something specific like that. They were talking about social media. He says, well, social media, the effect of social media is kind of like a drug in that it changes your mood. If you're on your phone all the time on your social media, you're reacting to it, you're thinking about things, you're part of it, and it definitely changes your mood. It can make you angry, sad, whatever. You're looking for things. It definitely affects your mood. And then he says the problem is this thing right here. And he holds up his iPhone, and he says, I will tell you 10 years from now, people are going to be saying that this little special device is yesterday's cigarettes. Using cigarettes to alter your mood, to feel better after a meal, after you've had sex, after a cup of coffee, after you leave a movie theater. When you're hooked on cigarettes, you ever been hooked on cigarettes? No. I was, man. The things you do when you with smoking, it's the first thing you wake up, the first thing when you drink coffee. It's so much a part of your life.
It's a dopamine. They've shown it. It's a dopamine.
It's
fix.
drugs.
Yeah.
It's drugs
in your brain.
And by the way, it's not only the chemicals of the thing. With me, it was also I never smoked in the pitch black. If I woke up at 2 a.m. and I didn't have a nicotine fit, and I would never light a cigarette in the dark and smoke in the dark. Part of the cigarette attraction was getting it out of the pack, flicking the lighter, tapping it down, it's a whole thing. And it's part of making you feel, the anticipation. I mean, it's a mood thing. And he said this in 10 years is going to be what they used to call with the danger of cigarettes. And how many times have I been, said exactly that thing? And I think
7,112.
114, sir. I said it twice today already. Anyway, I thought, oh my God, maybe it's not. I'm just not some stupid old goof. Now the actual people, with brains who are still, making money and living and a career, they feel the same way. I'm now validated by a guy on TV. Oh my God. Anyway, I feel good about. I feel whatever. Okay. All right. Now, it might be working. This week, Pete called me. Was it yesterday, Saturday, Sunday, last night? And I didn't know it until I happened to look at my phone, and I saw the thing that said missed call. And I looked over and it said Pete called, so I called him back. And the same thing happened earlier when somebody texted me, but I didn't know it until I happened to see that I had missed a text. In other words, I'm not getting the ding-ding on my phone for some reason. Yeah. It was turned off. Whatever. Somehow somebody turned off.
Oh, you think that's bad?
The things.
When's the last time you updated it?
What do you mean update?
Where it lets you turn it off and it does the thing and software update.
Oh, well, it was supposed to go last night, but it didn't click in.
Well, guess what? They have a thing now that Apple put in the latest one.
Yeah.
That basically will only charge your phone when it knows it's getting it from a clean energy source,
like for
solar
God's
or wind,
sakes.
which means it's going to be slower. So I went through settings, boop, 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 and I turned that shit off.
Really?
I want it to charge as soon as I plug it in. I don't care what.
Yeah.
I don't care if you have child labor spinning a wheel like a rat.
Well,
I want my
and
phone charged.
All of a sudden, twice now, I've gotten the message: your phone will start charging again once it's cooled down. Where the hell did that come from?
I don't know.
And again, now when you texted when you were at the door and you texted the knock at the door, I did get a ding
Who's
on that.
there?
So, huh? Oh hell! But I did get I heard the ding of that, which means I may have turned it back on again. And I just went into settings and started looking for stuff, but I don't even know what that means. And again, how did that even happen?
Cindy says a witch has cast a spell on your
Honestly,
phone.
I mean I don't.
Yeah, I'm turning mine off right now too.
The one about the charging with the solar
yeah, it says
power
clean
bullshit?
energy charging.
Do I have that?
I'll check it for you, but it
Okay.
says
And will you check to see if my things are if my noises are turned
Yeah, it
on?
says
to get a text
iPhone
and a
will
phone?
Check and see if Kimmer's turned on.
here's what it
That's
says.
easy.
Here's what it says in clean energy charging on the iPhone. iPhone will try to reduce your carbon footprint by selectively charging when lower carbon emissions electronically is available. iPhone learns from your daily charging routine so it can reach full charge before you need to use it again.
Is this Gates? I mean, who is this?
Apple.
Well, who decided at Apple that we're going to do this?
The
Somebody
woke
made a
department?
Tim something. What's his
Tim
name?
Cook?
Tim Cook.
Yeah, Tim Cook. Good Mississippi boy.
Unbelievable.
By the way,
Yeah.
I went to the store this morning, and my pants are kind of loose.
Huh.
And I was like, wow, I must have been losing some weight. All this work and moving, everything. I lost some weight. Then I reached out. Oh, crap, I forgot my belt.
I
thought I was
hate
losing
that.
weight.
I hate that. Especially if it's not all the,
know,
but it's
like-
just enough to go. You can't. Oh, I hate that. Oh, I hate that. Did you get? Flounder got the message too about Amazon. Thank you. Did you do whatever we had to do, or did I have one? Okay.
doubled it.
Now let me ask you this.
That is what you got. That is a basic catfish text email.
Let me read what
Oh,
happened.
yeah.
Let me read.
Those
what
are the ones
happened.
not to.
This morning I got a thing and it says, I got it. Well, here we go. It said this was at 6:26 this morning. Your Amazon account has been locked. We recently received multiple failed login attempts on your account. Recover your account immediately by click link below, and below was misspelled.
Amazon
which is a
would
pretty
never-
good free.
would never
Well,
do that,
And it
yeah.
said by click link instead of by clicking link. So the grammar's gone, the syntax is gone, and they misspelled the word below. So there's no freaking way I'm going to open up the damn thing. And it says, please take action on your account within 48 hours to avoid permanent suspension.
You know how else you can tell? If it's in Cyrillic, the Russian alphabet.
Well,
That's a good hint right there, too.
anyway, so at first I immediately texted Flounder. And I said, what the hell is that? I didn't want to text you because it was 6 o'clock in the morning. But I immediately texted Flounder, and he said, I got the same thing, so I just erased it.
Oh,
Anyway.
Cindy
And
points
two
out
things.
scams.
Anytime you see something like that from whether it's an Amazon or a Facebook, anytime you see a general message with a link,
Yeah.
stay away from it.
And again, I don't friend when people want to be my friend. I don't trust it anymore. I don't do anything on my phone, and that's why I will never pay a bill. I will go in person. I'll let them know over the phone by voice what my credit card number is, rather than type it into my cell phone. That's how paranoid I am, and for good reason. The two things happened today. I have no idea what they are. The Amazon thing, and how did I suddenly lose the ding on my phone when somebody called? I mean, I didn't do a damn thing.
Well, that's why, I mean, nowadays when you buy things online, that's why you have a PayPal account or a Venmo or
Yeah.
something like that. That way,
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, sorry, I've been rambling here. We have fun stuff. We'll have some fun stuff.
When?
Let's talk about. You want to talk about your move? Any update on happiness of the move or disaster or?
Keep talking while I take a swig.
All right, sir. We'll do that.
And then he shuts up. Anyway, it was hell on earth. I stayed up all Friday night because we loaded it Friday. And it took so long. It's just one storage room. They kept bringing box after box after box out. And I was like, oh my God, it's like never end. There's a wormhole in there. And finally, about 5 o'clock, I said, it's going to take us 2 hours to get where we want to go. And then I said, do you want to just wait till tomorrow? And he'd been saying all day, yeah, we're going to do it today. We're going to do it today. Do it. And I didn't get it out of my mouth. He said, you think we should maybe? He goes, yes. So they had to find a place to stay. They had come all the way from Maryland to do this. The company brings them around. It's a nationwide company, so they brought them down for 2 or 3 moves.
Is this your insurance coverage type thing, you mean?
Well, they will. Boy, are they going to crap when they see this bill. But anyway.
Well, wait a minute. You caught them on your own, and they sent you a crew from Maryland?
Well, it's a local company, but they're nationwide. So the guy that was going to do it couldn't do it this weekend, so they called their guys in Maryland and said, come on down, and we got 2 or 3 moves you can do while you're here. So anyway, that's beside the point.
Yeah.
So we decided, let's do it tomorrow. So all night I'm tossing and turning going, it's not going to fit. I've got too much blank. It's not going to fit in the house. And I could get a whiff of sleep and got there at 8 in the morning on Saturday morning. And we did it. And it took 4 hours to unload it and everything. And the poor landlord showed up and goes, wow, you do have a lot of stuff.
Wow.
And not all of it literally got in. Some of it's on the porch and a lot of it's in the garage. But I can't believe we got it inside someplace. It was just I have got to go through this for weeks and whittle it down and give away to
is this stuff that's also was in the summer house?
Yeah, it was the
house, the
so storage room. So it was an entire apartment and an entire storage room going into a small house and a garage. And there's stuff I haven't seen since 2007. I don't even know what's in it.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go through it and I'm going to whittle it down by a
Flounder saw all the crap in my entryway. Well, I've got to go through.
You guys should have a yard sale. You could have a football yard sale with the two of you.
Do 3 boxes a weekend. And before you know it, it'll be gone.
Yeah, but I don't want, what if, things like my golf trophies from the club championship or something, but nobody wants
Nobody wants that, but you give them away.
Throw them away?
Give them away. People, maybe some listeners would want it.
I don't know. And stuff like that, anyway. But I've got.
Drop it off at Goodwill.
I probably have 80 T-shirts.
Well, you can sell those on eBay. Those vintage T-shirts, people love that stuff. Remember the old '96 Rock logos and stuff like. People pay
some people
for that.
Have sent me over the years some of the Trump thing, F New York and stuff. I've got probably 50, 60, 80 T-shirts.
That's rude.
I don't know. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, sorry.
I don't recommend moving. Let's put it that way.
Real quick, we have some breaking news.
Oh, please.
What are we gonna
Former Atlanta Mayor Keisha Bong Bottoms is leaving her senior White House role from the Biden administration after less than a year.
Yeah, finally.
They found out she's incompetent.
Sinking ship, and she wasn't getting anywhere or doing anything.
Well, they found out she's incompetent.
Yeah, well, she was also probably going to go down with the team here. But
you got to ask yourself: did she leave, or do you think they kicked her out?
I think she saw no future. I think she was. You know what? I'll bet she was hoping to be like a vice presidential candidate. I'm sure. I'll guarantee you the reason she went to Washington was for bigger things. It wasn't to work in some office at the White House. Right. It was to become something more than what she was. Member of the cabinet or as assistant secretary. Or a vice presidential candidate. Black woman, former mayor.
Tales of Incompetence and Moving, brought to you by Atlanta Custom Closets.
There you are.
ClosetPro.net, 404-255-0589. Boy, could I use 2 or 3 more hundred closets right now.
There you go.
Atlanta Custom Closets, that's what you need. Easter's coming up. Men, women, trans, everybody, they love closets.
They love closets. And they'll take care of you, especially moving. New place, old place,
Believe me, I could use several more closets.
You got Mother's Day coming up here before too long. We had Valentine's Day. Well, I do it for no reason. No, just because you love her. This is for her next birthday. Let's see.
We've had 3 people say they'd pay, by the way, to come sit.
Oh, God.
Maybe we should have said 500.
There could be some gentle fondling. I don't want to speak for the crew. I'm just saying.
Okay, I'm going to go out on a limb right now and say that I'm not going to touch anybody who comes in here. I'm not going to touch
come in here.
I promise you. I will not touch you.
A hazmat suit.
That could be a selling point here. We will not touch you unless you want it.
Long sleeves and a scarf.
We'll be bubble boys in here.
Oh, mercy. Oh, let's see. Let's see. Oh, Cocaine Bear, the movie.
Oh, it's a hit. It's a hit.
Is out. And it's an actual, again, if you haven't, I'm sure you've heard of it.
We should go see that movie.
Well, it might be worth. Do they have matinees
Maybe
like
we
a
should
1
have
o'clock?
a Kimmer night out, and we all go see the movie.
Get the tickets in advance. I wonder if there's a theater would block off 50 tickets.
I'm not gonna block off
I don't
any.
have 50 friends.
You know who directed it?
Yes, I do. And I'm going to tell a story about that particular person here in a moment. The Cocaine Bear, actually loosely based on a true story from 1985 in North Georgia. For the record, the movie was out, I guess, over the weekend. Cocaine Bear goes on a killing rampage, hit the theaters, but the reviewers are a little less than saying it's going to be an Oscar contender. Quote, "We have officially sunk very low with Cocaine Bear," said the Associated Press writer. Way past other films where the title alone describes the only thing that happens, like Snakes on a Plane, We Bought a Zoo, or Sharknado. I said, that's the movie. Cocaine Bear, buried cocaine, and off you go.
You got me.
That's it.
I'm there.
Not that hard to figure out. And the story is in North Georgia, a guy named Andrew Thornton parachuted to his death.
Well, don't tell the story.
It's not the movie. This is the true story. The true story is this guy parachuted to his death in September of 1985 with 77 pounds of cocaine strapped to his waist.
You're giving away the movie.
They know the story. You and your giving away stuff. My God. Somebody put that on the bingo board. Pete interrupting with give away the plot. Ding, ding. By the way, his main parachute failed to open when he bailed out. He had been dropping duffel bags of cocaine throughout northwest Georgia and Tennessee before he died. He unloaded 700 pounds of drugs in the mountains. Now, here's the thing. The state police don't want you to know this because the little tiny Georgia towns, the cops are saying, we don't want you to know where they may have dropped all this cocaine because it probably been hanging from trees. And we don't want people to know where it might be because they're going to go out and trying to find the woods full of people looking for cocaine. It's kind of a twisted fantasy. It stars Carrie Russell, who's a great little actress from The Americans.
Good Lord, she couldn't find anything else?
And that's the other thing. What was it? She was in the kids movie, the teenage movie.
It didn't do very well either.
But it was a series. I mean, I'm sorry, the series. She was on the TV series. Wasn't she on the...
when she was a kid.
Yeah.
I forget the name of it.
But then the Americans, the series she was in as the...
Fantastic.
What a great role. Tough,
she was
hard
up for
role.
Emmys.
And she was great. And now she's doing this. Well,
Cocaine
whatever.
Bear?
Anyway.
And she did a horror movie before this that nobody went and saw.
I know. Anyway, so that it's also some O'Shea Jackson. I don't know who that is. Some other people. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 51%. I'm not sure what that means. If that's good or bad.
That's
bad.
Now,
there were some one of the last appearances in it by Ray Liotta, who died since then, and actress Elizabeth Banks, who not only produced it but directed it. Now, Elizabeth Banks is that blonde comedian actress who was in 40-Year-Old Virgin. She was one of the girls in the record store. She was in Seabiscuit. She played the wife in Seabiscuit. She played a great role there.
She was in Elf.
Elf?
No. She wasn't in Elf. She was in Fred Claus.
Oh, that's what.
Where she's in an elf uniform.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You probably know her. I mean, she's been in a whole bunch of things. She is from Pittsfield, Massachusetts. She was born in 1974. Bingo. She's 49 years old. And she went to high school with my golfing buddy Matt, who was down in Florida. From there, I used to play when I was retired. I mean, it's just an amazing story. But Elizabeth Banks, and she's really, God.
She did say something stupid over the weekend. She said
she did?
that male actors don't want to take direction from female directors. Like, woman, there have been female directors.
How about the Bomb Story? The woman who won the Oscar for Bomb Story
Every other
directing.
movie on Netflix and Amazon is now directed by women. What are you talking about?
Well, she's a girl.
She's very smart, though. She does that game show, too, that she brought back. Whammy. No whammies, no whammies, no whammies.
Oh,
What was
really?
the name of that where you hit the thing and the demon jumps up at you? What's the name of that, Flounder?
Oh, God.
No whammies. No, it goes in a circle. Boop, 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 boop.
Press your luck.
Press your luck.
Pressure luck. Oh, my God.
Yeah, she brought that back. I love that.
Oh, my. Was that Wink Martindale or
No,
somebody?
it was
Who
some other guy. But but the guy who won so much money on it actually timed it. He played it at home, and he won because he timed
You
the
figured out what
whammy.
it was going to do?
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. If it was consistent, that would make sense. I'll be damned. That's pretty cool. Let's see. Oh, excuse me.
Cindy said thanks for all the spoilers, too, with the movie.
Very funny. Happy birthday, by the way. It was
Is it
Cindy's
her-
birthday.
Oh, was it? I didn't know.
Yesterday. It was
Happy
her
birthday,
Her birthday
Cindy.
yesterday. In fact, she sent me one of the nice notes about the passing of Jack the Good Boy on her birthday.
She's almost 40 now, Cindy.
Almost, and I got a very nice note from so many people. In fact, I can't read. They just go every time I open my phone. It's more messages on Jack the Good Boy. Ben and his family. He said it was like a JFK. See, I heard it. I heard the ding. That means my thing's back on again. And Ben said he and his family, his wife, were at Walmart, and he looked at his phone, and it was my announcement that Jack had crossed the Rainbow Bridge, and he said it was like. He'll remember where he was. I mean, so many people were so touched by that magnificent animal. Anyway, so thank you. That was very sweet.
By the way, Mark says, we could play a game. Is there anybody that you don't have connections with? 6 degrees of separation from the Kimmer.
The Kimmer. Ron Santo.
We should do
Of all the players.
I'm going to throw a name out. Robert Oppenheimer, man, the man who invented the atomic bomb.
Well, in that case,
six things find me a connection.
I once had sex with a contestant for Miss America who studied the atomic bomb under Oppenheimer.
That's only
with
3.
his research.
Oh
That's
my
his
God! It only took 3. Flounder, give him a name,
For 3?
and you can't make it up. A name from the past, present, or future, and he'll have a connection with it.
Lincoln.
Nixon.
Lincoln.
Abe Lincoln.
That's kind of hard.
I know.
That maybe.
Let's see.
All right, I'll make some. What about Don Knotts?
Don Knotts.
Don Knotts.
Don
I've been to
Knotts.
Knott's Berry Farm, and that was named after Don
No,
Knotts.
it was
ladies and
not.
gentlemen.
It was not. You liar. It was not.
I don't know that. You can't do this with me.
Don
Knotts.
Knotts.
I mean, he probably ought to be somebody that,
He
has
didn't
been
work
dead
with
for
somebody
50
that
years.
you worked with, that you knew, and
Well, I could do. Don Knotts, I'm sure, worked with. I'll bet he worked with a couple of producers that
Ron
I've worked with
Howard.
over
You
the
know
years.
anybody that knows Ron Howard? Or Andy Griffith?
I'm sure that they've worked with a producer or a TV guy or somebody that
A lot of them you could have interviewed. I interviewed
all
somebody
all
who
the TV celebrities and stars.
Yeah.
I had dinner with Kelsey Grammer, and I mean all those people connected to all those
I'm sure
big
somebody.
movies they were in.
See, it'd be easy with all your
the
interviews.
guy from Cocoon that I keep forgetting his name.
Wilford Brimley?
No, the old
Don Amici.
Don Amici, and all those guys. I mean, all those presidents.
Wait a minute.
Royalty.
Okay, Don Amici. You ate dinner with Don Amici.
Had dinner sitting next to Don Amici.
Okay, Don Amici's in Cocoon.
Yeah,
Who directed Cocoon?
that was not Spielberg.
Ron Howard.
Ron Howard. And that's your Ron Howard
That's
connection.
Ron Howard. And Ron Howard knows Don Knotts.
Actually, just because
that's 3. Once more, 3.
Well, not only that, but I've got a connection with Frank Sinatra, Bob Hope. I sat with Bob Hope, Carol Burnett, Jim Neighbors, Nancy Sinatra. I mean, I can name all the celebrities I've talked to over the years.
Rocco wants
Huey Lewis in the new. I mean,
No. Rocco wants you to tie yourself to Emmett Till. I could probably do that quicker than he
might
could.
be able to.
Basil Rathbone, according to Scooter.
Douglas Fairbanks Jr. I can do it because I went to a cotillion with his granddaughter, Melissa Fairbanks.
I could do it in 2.
Who took a private jet to go back to the Hamptons.
I can do it in 2. I have visited Douglas Fairbanks Sr.'s grave in Hollywood. It's beautiful with the little.
But that's not a live
thing.
thing.
But his son was Junior. So that's 2. So I've been to the man's grave. He's right
That's
there.
not a lie.
That's a connection. That's a connection. I've been to it. Oh, please.
Oh, I read a book
show of
once that
hands
had
here.
his name in it.
I've been to the man's grave.
I read a book that had Douglas Fairbanks
got a reflecting
Jr.'s
pool.
name. I
What?
saw
Okay.
that.
I've got one. Both
I
you
saw
guys
the
are.
Well, wait a
name
minute. You got to
right
vote
there.
on this. I've literally looked up the man's grave and have
my
stood
God.
there.
That's not
That's
a
connection.
He was not there.
No, that was a visitation.
That's a connection.
I look up the name and I had a
Oh, my
connection.
God.
I read it in a book.
Mark says that your dad had Oppenheimer as an intern at GE.
That's right. There you are.
All right, so Michael, or was it Cindy put Elizabeth Taylor? I went to college with a buddy whose great aunt is Audrey Hepburn.
I'll be damned.
By the way, I was up. We ate eating dinner last week at this place called Riverstone Parkway. It's right across from where they're building a new Cherokee High. It's a great little restaurant. That's a big restaurant. And there was a woman bartending. Had to be about 24 or something. That was the perfect combination of Audrey Hepburn and Ana de Armas. Exotic looking, but just it was stunning.
Really?
She should be on the cover of Vogue. That's stunning. And she turned
where was
around at
this?
one point and looked right in my eyes and smiled. And it was like, oh, how could you be dating a
And where
woman
was
like that
this?
and not be just melt every time she looked at you?
And where was this?
Riverstone Restaurant or something? Riverstone?
And she, a waitress in the thing?
No, she's a bartender. And it was, oh, my God.
When I was retired, I went to the South, and I had a place up in New England with my brother, and I would ride my Harleys around all over the place, and I was riding on the way to Cooperstown, I think, one day on my Harley, taking a Harley ride. And I stopped at this little diner in nowhere, New York State. I don't know even the name. It wasn't Chatham, New York. It was somewhere near that part of New York. And it was a little tiny diner, and I walk in there and sit down, and out comes this waitress who was the most beautiful woman I had ever seen. She was stunning. Just precious. and she was efficient. She hustled around and she smiled at everybody and just real professional. Nothing, no sexual things or flirty things. I mean, just real pro stuff. And I looked at her. I said, "Excuse me." I said, "What in the world are you doing in this little diner in Fippity-Fop, New York State?" I said, "You look like a movie star."
Oh, boy.
I did. I said, I was in my.
I'm a producer.
I was wearing a black motorcycle leather vest with Marine Corps things all over it. I was a greaser. Believe me, I was not hitting on her. But I said, honestly, I can't believe it. And she said, "Oh, you are so sweet." And she kissed me on the cheek. I was 60 and she was probably 24, and I couldn't believe it. And she was gorgeous. Again, what the world are you doing here? No ring on her. I mean,
she's young. She's just
witness
starting
protection.
out. But okay. By the way, Mark here.
Riverstone Corner?
I don't know. Michael says he wants to know if you have a connection with Greg Louganis. I don't want to know if you do.
We drove off the same diving board.
And Cindy wants to know if you're connected with Mr. Peanut.
Probably. I mean, I'm connected to, Sinatra and Bob Hope and actor people, director people.
All right, let me look at Riverstone. What you were saying? Riverstone. I'm going to look. We're going to find this place. Because if people live up there, they can drop by and say hello.
Well, you do. Now remember, Riverstone or anywhere else, if it's in Georgia, you have a friend at Wise RV Glass. If you have a glass issue in your RV or motor coach or camper, have some kind of a glass problem, could be a broken rear view mirror or inside mirror or the rear glass or the front one piece, hard to find front windshield. It could be a little side, and you're thinking, oh man, I don't want to. No. You call them or get a hold of them and they come to you. All mobile service. Wise RV Glass. No job too big or too small. RVs, motor coaches, campers, buses, stuff like that. Even the hard-to-find double-pane, fogged-up windows, stuff like that. They'll take care of all that stuff, and they come to you. No job is too small. That's what they do for a living. They'll love doing this stuff. No job too big either, by the way. Again, when you call them or talk to them, say hi to Carl, the dad who retired. Russell's running the place, and what a great family business. Again, all mobile service. RVs, motor coaches, campers, things like that. All your glass issues. Here's the phone number. Area code 470-345-6521. And on the web, wiservglass.com. Wise RV Glass.
Riverstone Corner Bistro. It's where sidelines are. Is that what you said? Yeah. Sorry.
Uh-huh.
It's where the Dairy Queen ran out of chocolate ice cream.
Oh, really? Let's see.
How the hell can you run out of chocolate ice cream?
Everything's going to shit.
how do you run out of ice cream at the Dairy Queen?
Because nothing works anymore. Nothing works anymore anywhere
Oh,
you go.
you know what?
It's all incompetence everywhere.
I'm sitting here like an idiot. Speaking of that, over the weekend, I was feeling kind of bad whatever. And so I said, well, you know what? I think I'll make some cookies, take them into the boys. And so I was looking at no cookies. I mean, basically, like one pack of cookies on the freaking at Publix, at the main Publix in Alpharetta. I couldn't freaking believe it. So I said, well, I didn't want the little teeny. I don't get the little chocolate chippies. I don't get the little. I want the one that I want. You know, no white macadamia nut things. No, so all they had was a couple things. And I know you weren't nuts about the sugar cookies last time. So I thought, I'm going to do something different. The only other option I had, and I bought a thing of sugar cookies, and I'll make those later another day, but the only option I had was something I never would have gotten myself for me, but I thought, you know what the hell, I'll try it. I'm open to new things. It's the new Kimmer. I want to be happy and livable and having a fun time Kimmer.
This is the longest intro in history. What did you make here?
Oatmeal. What's the little red things? Not rhubarb. What do you call
Red
them?
bugs?
No. What? It's a
cinnamon
fruit.
sticks.
No. It's not
Potpourri.
Not raisins. It's the little red ones.
Glass beads.
No, God.
Currants.
No, it's not
Cranberries. Raspberries.
No, what's the other one?
Cranberries.
Cranberries, yeah.
You put sour
oatmeal cranberry. No, they're sweet. They're delicious. They're sweet. I couldn't believe
They're
it.
both oatmeal.
They're both oatmeal
Right.
and cranberry. And I brought two of each.
Now you're going up against my great grandmother's oatmeal oatmeal cookie.
I take no response. I'm sure mine are, and these are not. I didn't make these from scratch. These are again from that girl company, Lorena, something like that.
Oh, they smell good.
And it's a pink wrapper, but that's all they had. I couldn't believe it. Now,
these are good.
Again, when I made them, I had them while they were still warm, but I think they came out perfect. I mean, they're just moist enough. Not anymore.
Knuckleball.
But they're good, aren't they?
They are
and
good.
I never would have bought cranberry oatmeal cookies. You know, I mean, I did, and I thought they were delicious. So I thought, anyway, just for.
Well,
but again,
that's a lie,
nothing
but
on
you
the shelves. I mean, just little things. You look cookies. You know, I mean, pick a thing and see.
They're getting us ready.
Bottled water, for God's sakes.
They're getting us ready to have to accept the fact we don't have as much as we used to, and there's no reason why we shouldn't.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
There's no reason except the elites want us controlled.
Nonsense. Total freaking nonsense. Can we do? I want to talk about the Dilbert guy. You're going to hear from him, by the way, too, and I'll read you his last cartoon that'll ever show up
Let's
at
do
the
it
Al
now.
Jazeera. All right, we can do that right now. Here we go.
Everybody's
Okay,
talking about it.
Dilbert. Now, here's an announcement this morning, or I guess it was yesterday, in the Al Jazeera Constitution, why we will no longer run Dilbert. Based on comments creator Scott Adams made this past week calling for racial separatism. Okay, let me interrupt here. Black leaders have been calling for racial separatism for I don't know how long. You know, I mean, please.
College campuses.
You're freaking killing me. You can't, if you're a Jew or you're white, you can't go into certain places on college.
Yeah.
You know, places only black people are allowed to go in.
Let me just say,
okay.
I don't agree with what he said. I don't
No, it
think
was
we
stupid.
should be apart.
Yeah.
But I have no problem with him saying it.
Right, exactly. And again,
Because I know where he stands now.
And what kills me is what the people say. I'll get to it here in a second. Quote, his racist comments are incompatible with the AJC's values and undermine our mission to make Atlanta and the world a better place by serving we acknowledge his right to free speech and expression, but he does not have a right to AJC's financial support of our platform. And the company, the syndicated people say, well, we believe in his right to free speech, but he's going against our values. Oh, in other words, he has a right to free speech, but not real free speech. He only has the right to free speech unless you really don't like his free speech. I mean, I love this. He has a right to free speech, not with us. I mean, we're going to censor him.
Well,
we don't like what he says.
I agree with them too.
Is there a company they can say we don't want you anymore? It's free, but don't hand me the we believe in free speech stuff unless you really mean it. I mean, seriously. You know, I mean, you have the right. You have the right to go fart in church. That doesn't mean it's the right thing to do, but you have the right to do it, and they have the right to cancel them. But again, then stop the free speech crap. Either it's real or it's not real. It's like being a little bit pregnant, or you believe in abortion, but not every abortion. Oh, well, then sorry, you believe in abortion. You know. So anyway, now, first of all, Flounder, do you have his soundbite? If you could get that for us, sir. This is the guy, the Scott Adams. He's kind of doubling down
He's a very intelligent man, by the way.
Again, I didn't know anything about him. And
if this is what he believes, this is what he believes.
Yeah, and by the way,
he did an episode with Joe Rogan a few years ago. It was a really good episode.
He's very smart.
The Dilbert cartoon is the workplace cartoon with is it a little dog or what's it? The little white.
There's a dog involved.
Little white dog who kind of the wise person of the
Dogbert.
Dogbert is that, and he's sort of the interlocutor or something. He's the moderator of the series. But anyway, now what happened with Dilbert? He was dropped by his syndicator and hundreds, I guess, of newspapers. Gannett, in fact, the largest newspaper publisher in America, is no longer going to run it. Scott Adams is 65 years old. He was on a podcast, and they said, we respect and encourage free speech. His views do not align with our editorial values. Okay, again. So, Plain Dealer editor, one of the paper's guys, said, this is not a difficult decision. Adams said black people are a hate group, citing a recent Rasmussen survey, which he said shows nearly half of all black people do not agree with the phrase, it's okay to be white. Duh. Anyway, the Anti-Defamation League has noted that the phrase was popularized on the website for trolling purposes, adopted by white supremacists as a hate slogan. So all of a sudden,
this is for the ADL.
Yeah, here we go. I mean, they have way overstated their mission or gone way above beyond what they originally was supposed to be about. I would say, based on the current way things are going, the best advice I would give to white people is to get the hell away from black people. Anyway, here, let's play Mr. Adams right here himself as he doubled down against the criticism against him over the weekend in particular.
So if nearly half of all blacks are not okay with white people, according to this poll, not according to me, according to this poll, that's a hate group.
Yeah.
That's a hate group. And I don't want to have anything to do with them. And I would say, based on the current way things are going, the best advice I would give to white people is to get the hell away from black people. Just get the fuck away. Wherever you have to go, just get away. Because there's no fixing this. This can't be fixed. Right? This can't be fixed. You just have to escape. So that's what I did. I went to a neighborhood where, I have a very low black population. Because unfortunately, there's a high correlation between the density. And this is according to Don Lemon, by the way. So here I'm just quoting Don Lemon when he notes that when he lived in a mostly black neighborhood, there were a bunch of problems that he didn't see in white neighborhoods. So even Don Lemon sees a big difference in your own quality of living based on where you live and who's there.
It was a pretty strong comments, and it's sure. I mean, it's easy to label and put in a box and everything else.
Not all black people think that way. The poll, I don't know if it's half, but still.
No.
But his point, I think, is that the media keeps pushing the race division, and everything. That's why it's not going to go away. There's money to be made.
And the problem, as I was doing that again there, Flounder, the problem that I see it to me is that not only are they pushing it, but the media is making it not only acceptable, but are condoning the black viewpoint that it's there's a reason why they want to be separate. Why the reason there is an okay reason they're doing this, but it's not an okay reason if a white guy even thinks it, let alone says it out loud. So, again, either you have the ability to live together as a philosophy, or you don't. And the fact that he said these things out loud. Here's what he says philosophically, quote, "A lot of people are angry at me today, but I haven't yet heard anyone disagree. I make two main points. One, treat everyone as an individual, no discrimination. Two, avoid any group that doesn't respect you. Does anyone think that is bad advice? Avoid people who don't want to be with you and don't respect you. Is that racist? He didn't say avoid people by race who do. He said by people in general. If you're in a community where, I don't know, anti-Polish or something, whatever. Anyway, he says he can't prove it, but he believes that his termination from the strip occurred after he introduced wokeness into his office-centric cartoons. I believe as part of a large overhaul of comics. Why they decided what was in and what was out, that's not known to anybody but them, apparently. And again, here's his last column.
He's got FU money, by the way.
Yeah, obviously. His last column again. It's the if I know of it. I never really used to read it. I didn't read it.
I read it every
Sunday,
now and
whatever.
then.
And it's okay. Guys at the office. There's a guy sitting next to his little white dog.
Oh God, you're going to read us the comics.
Yes, I'm going to be like FDR Fireside. No, Fiorello
LaGuardia.
Fiorello LaGuardia.
Oh,
When
God,
the
here we
newspapers went on strike, he would read the Sunday
From
comics.
2014, ladies and gentlemen, he's going to read us the comics again.
The little white dog and a guy sitting next to him. The little white dog says, "This is Bob. Bob likes to debate, but he isn't good at it." Another guy shows up. When you disagree with Bob, he will insist that the only reason you disagree is that you're afraid. If you get vaccinated, Bob will say you are afraid of catching a sniffle. If you don't get vaccinated, Bob will say you are afraid of getting the shot. Bob believes your thinking process does not extend beyond your fears. That's because Bob is a moron who projects. That's because Bob is a moron who projects his one-dimensional worldview on others. And Bob says, "Sounds like you're afraid to admit I'm a better debater than you." And the dog says, "There it is." I mean, the last
good way to
column
go
is
out.
Well, you saved that. You
That's
probably would save
good way to
that.
go out.
And a date, put a date on it, and you might want to save that.
It's
The
got
last-
a date on it right here.
Oh, okay, there you are, from the AJC, Al Jazeera Constitution. But again, I mean, what a freaking story. And they're not, he's done, he's gone, basically, because, of what he said.
Well, if he does a thing on the internet and everything, he can do money that way. People will pay to read his thing.
Oh, absolutely. Or do it, for that matter, do like a Gary Larson calendar. I mean, I wonder how many millions he made off his yearly calendars, Christmas calendars,
Life
and
would be
daily calendars.
so boring in this country if there weren't black people here. Let's face it. Black people have, from popular culture, music, even if you just looked at music, for God's sake, the language and everything that changed, the sports, the entertainment industry, everything.
We're a
it's
whole
amazing.
different culture because of black.
But I'm still one of those stupid people that's in. When I was a kid, the minority was we felt like Martin Luther King. Judge us on the content of the character, not the color of our skin. When I was a kid, I was in the minority to believe that. And then all of a sudden, back in the 80s and the 90s, suddenly I was in the majority.
Yeah.
And now I'm back in the minority with that thought.
And I'll say it again, if you are new to the podcast, I guarantee you, I promise you, my official position is never going to change on this. Today's modern leftist, political, left-leaning Democrat leaders do not believe in the one thing about Martin Luther King that we all say immediately when we think of his name and what he stood for, and that is from the I Have a Dream speech, where Martin Luther King said we need one day to judge a person based on not on the color of their skin, but on the character. Not on the color of their skin. That's the one major thing. That's the whole message of the civil rights movement in one sentence.
Well, his version, Malcolm didn't really agree with that too much.
Well,
but
but again,
the end,
when people say, when they celebrate Martin Luther King Day, all these Democrats come out on Martin Luther King Day, and they don't believe in Martin
Don't
Luther
believe any of
King's
that. No.
content of your character instead of the color of your skin. That's how they got a job for the girl on the Supreme Court. The only reason you have a vice president, because it's just nonsense.
They follow the philosophy of Malcolm X during his heyday of when he was pro-violence and pro-segregation and pro-different places to live. At the end, once he went to Mecca and he saw that fair-skinned, blue-eyed Muslims walk around, he goes, "Wait a minute, I got to rethink this."
Yeah,
and
he
they
became
killed him for it.
Yeah, they murdered him. His own people murdered him because he turned.
Or the federal government. Do you see they got a lawsuit up there now saying the feds killed him?
Yeah. God. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised at all.
I'm seriously.
I don't know
would
why
not
they
be
would.
surprised.
I don't know why they would at that point, because he was spreading peace at that point.
What did he have? He might have had something. I mean, who knows what people have on somebody or a thing? What they bottom? I mean,
It's a great
that's
book.
way over our.
Everyone should read that autobiography. It's amazing.
And that business with Scott Adam, whatever his name is,
Scott Adams.
Led to another bashing of Marjorie Taylor Greene. One of the furry-legged, hyphenated, feminated femgals at the Al Jazeera Constitution, Patricia Murphy, the political writer, said, Marjorie Taylor Greene signs final papers signifying her total divorce from reality. What a nasty, that's the headline. Green said the time had come for a national divorce since red states and blue states will supposedly never resolve their differences. her own divorce from reality was complete. Again, Scott Adams said, if you want to separate the thing, then the issue is separation. And she is saying we need to separate the states and time to separate the country. But Ms. Green said, insisting that the civil war she'd called for is not a civil war. No one wants that. At least everyone I know would never want that. But it's going that direction. We have to do something about it. Green called America a crumbling nation, a nation in distress. Described the country as a racist dystopian hellscape where white people are victimized, conservative members of Congress are silenced, and the corporations are being taken over by the federal government. The only way out, she concludes, is apart. Not a civil war, but on the House Oversight Committee, she's harangued a former Twitter executive for disabling her campaign Twitter account after she spread, quote, conspiracy theories. Moments later, she launched into her own false conspiracies, unquote, about that employee's supposed connection to child pornography. Quote, I'm so glad you're censored now and lost your job, she said to the former Twitter guy. By the way, I'm a member of Congress and you're not. Well, finally, she stood up to the guy who banned her.
He was connected with pedophilia
exactly.
stuff.
I mean,
he wrote it.
Again, this girl, Patricia Murphy, is now completely changing not only but again, this is right there. This they print.
Yeah, they print that, and that's complete misinformation right there. Yeah. By the way, the Civil War she's talking about is less than what we had, and more like what India and the two Pakistans had when they had the partition.
Yeah.
That was hell.
Yeah.
On Earth.
This is nuts. I mean, this is just blithering idiots. And again, Mike Luck Hates Americovich, the suspected Al-Qaeda supporter, has a cartoon that says Abraham Lincoln saying, secession would destroy the only democracy in existence, and prone for all time a government of the people could not survive. And then he has Marjorie Taylor Greene yelling, liar, liar. Luck Hate Americovich.
Luckovich going to print all the other quotes Lincoln had about slavery and
no, we can't do that.
Yeah.
And again, these are the people who point out when Lincoln freed the slaves, he didn't really free all the slaves. It was more,
Did you know he only freed the slaves in the South? Yeah. That if you were someone from outside the North, or you had slaves and you were living in the North, and you were from France, some other place in the world that had slaves, he didn't free any of them.
Yeah.
Even though some of them were American slaves.
Yeah. Abe Lincoln. I could connect to Abe Lincoln in 3 moves.
I think you tried that.
I think I did try that once before. Let's see.
You watched his funeral train go by.
I saw the funeral train go by. What's that?
You and Teddy Roosevelt. Wait a minute.
I was working part-time at a wagon wheel shop.
Tie yourself to Teddy.
Teddy Roosevelt?
Because Teddy watched the funeral parade.
I can tie myself to Teddy Roosevelt in 3 steps. My starter wife, my starter wife, Shirley, in 1965,
while we're young,
would babysit in Pittsfield, Massachusetts for, Simon Roosevelt.
Yeah.
Who was the great-grandson of Teddy Roosevelt, was staying at a house across the street, and my starter, who at the time was my girlfriend, was babysitting, and I met the kid. I met Simon Roosevelt, who at the time was about 3 years old, and was the great-great-grandson of the Roosevelt families.
You did it.
2 steps.
And he ties to Lincoln.
Is that unbelievable?
Yeah.
I mean, that's freaking unbelievable.
Wait a minute. No.
That's a true story. Jennifer, if you're listening, ask your mother. Jennifer, if you're listening, go ask your mother.
By following you and Flounder's own rules, that doesn't count.
Why not?
Well, you didn't touch the man. You didn't talk to the man. You just saw his funeral thing go by.
Oh, my God. You are such an asshole.
Just like I stood there at the graveside of Douglas Fairbanks Sr.
Oh, my God.
I rest my case, Your Honor.
I'll rest a case on you.
This case is solved.
Case of Irish whiskey.
That's it.
You're
I'm leaving on
the way. The man is leaving the room. By the way... A couple of quick newsy things I heard coming in here. This is amazing. We mentioned, remember last week, I think it was, I mentioned that in Baltimore, Maryland, they showed that something like 21, I can't believe it, that many high schools, 21 high schools, which I guess includes every high school in Maryland, not one high school student passed the math test. Right. Well, guess what? Today, the results came in concerning the standardized tests for 4th grade math nationwide. Nationwide standardized tests for fourth graders in the math test, okay? Fourth grade nationwide. Chicago, 20% of the fourth graders passed. Baltimore, 7% passed. Detroit, 3% passed. 97% failure rate of fourth graders. Gee, what do you think our future's like compared to what China's doing?
Democrats.
I'll tell you.
Democrats. In
Every one of these
instance.
cities,
Democrats.
Chicago, Baltimore, Detroit.
It's almost as if it was a plan to destroy the country. It's
It's
isn't it amazing?
astounding. Astounding.
These astounding stats brought to you by FarmhousePrintingCo.com right here in Sonoya, Georgia. They got the shirts, the hats, the signs, the promotional items. You can order 1, you can order 500, you can order 1,000. Doesn't matter. No minimum order, no setup fees. Now with the hard stuff, you can get it in there and they'll laser engrave it where it lasts forever. FarmhousePrintingCo.com does all your stuff here for the Kimmer Show, for Holy Crap at Sports, the Shannon Burke Show, anything
There
you
you
want,
go.
by golly. By the way, we're still
Cat
doing that.
blankets, golf towels, hats,
Anything.
shirts.
FarmhousePrintingCo.com.
The bingo shirt.
We can do a bingo shirt if you like.
And they'll do it, and they do a great job.
They do.
And get it right to you too. It's not, they don't goof around. Let's see. There's another newsy thing. The Energy Department has spilled the beans to the Wall Street Journal, and again, there's no coverage in the Al Jazeera Constitution on this at all. The Wall Street Journal says it's pretty clear now that. We're not 100% certain, but it looks more and more like it was a leak from the Chinese lab that caused the China kill virus. Like we all said, it didn't come from some monkey out in the Amazon or whatever. And so, what the biggest kick I get out of this part of it is not only the fact is the media is not going to cover it. It's no coverage at all locally at all. They don't want you to hear it. They don't want you to, confirm that it was been true all along, which we all know, by the way. The reaction from the White House is repeated by Jake Sullivan. Jake Sullivan is the guy who went to Hillary Rodham P. Stinky Fart Cabbage back during the presidential campaign against Donald Trump and said, hey, Mrs. Clinton, I have a fake Russian dossier. We know from this guy Steele, the phony British spy guy, and we got a bunch of fake information as though Donald Trump would be linked to being kind of a Russian agent. It's not true. Nothing in there is true about it. But if we leak it to the press, we have friends in the press, and we could start a coup attempt and really mess him up forever and ever. And she said, great idea. God, let's do that. That was Jake Sullivan. Okay? Jake Sullivan today is in the White House advising President Stupid and reacted by saying, oh, no, our intelligence community has there's no, we can't, no, there's no link there. No. Oh, so Jake Sullivan said that? The guy, he should be in prison. He started the coup. Anyway. He says, there's no proof. We don't have any proof. But he did go to Hillary, and Hillary said, can we kill him? Can we kill the bastard? No, ma'am, I don't think we're allowed to kill the man.
Someone was defending that article saying, well, if you read the article, it says the National Intelligence Panel says it still came from the bat. And I'm thinking, is this the same National Intelligence Panel that told us that the Hunter Biden
Russian,
laptop was Russian disinformation, or that Trump was bought and paid for by the Russians, and they changed the 2016 election? Are the same people?
Or the hooker at the Hilton with the the same guys.
Yeah, it's like, it kills me. You have the right who looks at that headline and goes, aha, we said this all along.
Yeah.
The left looks at the headline and goes, well, the government says otherwise.
Yeah.
It's like get down and worship the same government that they hated their entire lives, but all of a sudden, everything that comes out of their ass is golden.
Yeah.
Big Pharma, Monsanto, the government, everything they say is the God's truth as soon as they utter it.
Hillary said, I want him dead. I want his family dead. I want his house burned to the ground. And they're not reporting it.
Enthusiasm. Man's got to have some enthusiasm.
Team effort. Team player.
Wham!
Sorry. Little distraction. By the way, there are a couple of very amusing stories in our friends at the Babylon Bee, and I think I shall share some of them stories for you now. For example, in Ohio, 3,500 fish and turtles died, but they're still, and it still
Nothing
looks
to
like
see here.
gas.
Nothing to see here.
No, drink the water. It's all good.
Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here.
And now, President showers with daughter is now saying, well, we may or may not go to Ohio. He's not going to go to Ohio now. He can't go now. I mean,
he don't know where it is.
For the point. I mean, nobody knows how to handle him. His puppeteers don't know what to do with him.
He'll fall in the creek.
He just fell going up the stairs again on Air Force One the other day, for God's sakes. And Carmela's side piece, the shiftless vice president, again, we have sound. It's not even worth playing again, but she went off again at a meeting a couple of days ago about this Venn graphs or Venn charts or whatever with the circles, Venn diagrams. Yeah. And she, how much I love it. Oh my God! Between that and the yellow school buses, if she runs for president, just play those sound bites over and over. I mean, would you vote for that woman?
They're calling her Blunder Woman.
Oh my God!
Blunder Woman.
Honestly, would you vote for her for president?
No.
I mean, seriously.
At this point, I wouldn't even sleep with her.
And our friends over at the Babylon Bee, Mike Hunt reports from East Palestine, Ohio, in a bizarre development. Turtles around Ohio have reportedly been spotted hanging around pizza parlors and practicing a wide variety of martial arts. I'm telling you, the turtle could talk, said local woman Alicia Hill, who claimed to have seen a turtle emerge from the sewer. He asked me which way to the pizza parlor, then ran away doing random front flips. I don't know what I saw. I'm pretty sure he even shouted, "Cowabunga!" Although the mysterious little turtle sightings were initially dismissed as a hoax, eyewitnesses have come forward with similar stories. Our pizza parlor was packed when one of those turtles came riding in on a skateboard and ordered 4 large pepperoni pies, said John Remy, the owner of Paisano's Pizza. He was pretty juvenile. The last thing our own town needs right now is a wave of monster turtles acting like little punks. They're described as a frightening menace, one local reporter said, adamantly defending them. She's described by April O'Neil. They're young, okay, and they're only trying to help the city, explained Miss O'Neil. I have exclusive footage from last week showing these turtles helping ward off a group of dangerous lizard people trying to invade from D.C. They're heroes in a half shell, so to speak. By the way, a little skimmer aside here, they mentioned local reporter April O'Neil. Do you know the name April O'Neil? Flounder, do you know the name April O'Neil?
No.
You could Google her. In other Babylon Bee reports, and obviously the guy writing the story knows who April O'Neil is. She's a very well-known adult actress.
Oh, I never heard of her.
Plane explodes. What's that? Plane explodes into fireball after man in 23F fails to put phone in airplane mode. Exploded into a massive fireball. One selfish person didn't put their phone on airplane mode, and now everybody's dead, said FAA Director Billy Nolan. Let this be a reminder. Every single plane is just one errant cell phone signal away from detonating in a fiery, all-consuming blaze of steel and death. The cell phone responsible came from 23F, occupied by Mr. Max Buford from Blue Ridge, Georgia. The black box confirms repeated instructions to place all electronic devices in airplane mode when unheeded by Mr. Buford. It's a tale as old as time.
You talk about the porno thing. The last 2 weeks there have been 2, and it's on the Facebook thing, so it's not like I'm looking for these. It shows up on the Facebook news.
Yeah.
Angela, whatever. She's from Australia. She got massive boobs.
I saw that. I saw this too. Angela White.
Angela White. Good-looking woman. But she's,
I did see something with...
They were like doing it for like 9 hours on the shoot, and it ruptured her appendix.
Oh, my God.
And then it wasn't
Is
the
that
same...
what the story was? I remember seeing that name, and I don't remember what it was.
And then a couple weeks later, some guy was doing it, so the guy won, and he broke it.
Oh.
And he says it turned black.
Ah! Oh.
Now, how would they get workers' comp for that? Or?
I don't know. Oh, mercy. It is Lent. They continue a quick some of the things that various states gave up for Lent. Alabama gave up using the deep fryer for breakfast. California gave up pooping on the sidewalk.
That's going to be hard to do.
Colorado gave up telling people how awesome Colorado is. Georgia gave up electing Stakey Abraham as a governor. Hawaii gave up getting laid. Kansas gave up telling people the Superman grew up next door. Let's see. Indiana gave up inexplicably calling Coca-Cola pop. You want some pop? New Hampshire gave up bragging about no sales tax. New Jersey gave up pronouncing water as wada. Let's see. Massachusetts gave up their Boston accent, which is totally fake anyway. Vermont gave up being so white. South Dakota gave up trying to carve Trump's face into Mount Rushmore. Quick couple headlines. AIDS brief Mayor Pete Buttigieg on Ohio disaster using wooden toy train set. Actually, can you imagine? I must have gone into his office with a little toy. It happened like this, Mr. Secretary. We're going around the corner. Honest to God, I can see it. Wife accidentally opens trans-dimensional portal trying to find power button on remote. That's another anti-wife thing. Let's see. Biden promises to get rid of all those resort fees by the time World War III starts. Oh, that's all I got.
Washington Post headline analysis.
Yes.
Scott Adams and the right wing insistence on white victimhood.
Again, they changed it around. It's exactly what they do. Oh my God.
Have you seen the stats of white violence to black, Asian violence to black, Hispanic violence to blacks? It's all like 5% or less.
Not even close.
And then blacks, not only violence on whites, Asians, Hispanics, and on each other. It's astronomical.
Yeah.
Everyone's a victim of what's going on in the black community. Until the black community gets a handle on it, what do they expect? White people to show up and fix it? Because that ain't going to happen. It's the white people that put you in this situation by destroying your families with the welfare state. So you're going to have to pull yourself out because the white people are going to do nothing but make money off of you, keep you on the plantation.
Let me ask you this. Who is there out there? Again, I came here in 1972. You came here before that. But in that late 60s, early 70s, Atlanta was at the time, it was kind of a respectful thing. Atlanta was called the New York of the South. Everything happened in Atlanta. We were the hub, airport-wise. Anybody that had to get anywhere came through Atlanta. I remember covering on the news every day. There would be a public meeting at the White House Inn or some local place of some visiting dignitary, and it would be a major news event. I mean, all 3 or 4 days a week for years. I mean, now I'm trying to think of who this back in the leadership of Andy Young and guys like that. Who these days now is there anybody you can think of who is a leader in trying to truly get things working again? To eliminate the racial divide. Is there anybody even talking about the issue of it? Is there any leader? Is there any...
In the media there is, and in the pulpit there are some. Like you got Jason Whitlock on the media and stuff like that. But he doesn't have a lot of power.
He's a commentator on Fox, right. Yeah. But again, I don't. Who's the black leader?
Well, it's
Carmella.
It's Sharpton.
Keisha Lance Bottoms.
I don't think black people think Al Sharpton's their leader.
Why does he show up everywhere?
Well, because he's like Jesse Jackson, who can't do it because he's sick most nowadays. But I mean,
I'm sure they thought it was going to be Abrams if she would have won governorship, but she confirmed to be a loser.
Well, by the way, who's that nasty, rotten, fat black woman who hates everybody? Congresswoman. She's responsible for almost
Sheila.
Yeah,
Sheila Lee Jackson.
No, not
Houston.
that one. There's the other one. I think she's bald.
I don't.
You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
She's the number one opponent of policing. She wants to get rid of all police departments, empty all the jails. She's the number one critical race theory and defund the police. Number one, defund the police. She just married her security guard. I think is fairly amusing. Some security there. Speaking of politics, this is an unbelievable story, and you're not going to get coverage of it anywhere except basically on
Corey
Twitter
Bush.
or here.
Corey Bush is her name.
I'm sorry?
Corey Bush.
Corey Bush. Oh, she is a hater. Google her some. If there's anybody talking hate about politics against white people, it's her.
We just passed a law now. No one with the surname Bush can run for anything ever again.
Yeah, we're done. We're done with the Bush people. Yeah, Bush.
Head for the mountains.
Yeah, the mountain stream. Twitter, massive news, preliminary report, massive news. Katie Hobbs and her husband, Katie Hobbs, the elected governor of Arizona, who did not, she did the Biden trick. She didn't campaign. She literally did no debates. She wouldn't take on Carrie Webb or whatever, Carrie Lake, who was, anyway, she literally did not campaign. Democrat did not campaign. Katie Hobbs and her husband allegedly connected to Sinaloa cartel money laundering operation. According to a report to the governor of Arizona, Katie Hobbs, Katie and her husband own several properties. Some lady investigating found the title company doesn't even exist. The two women who signed off work for the cartel. Arizona Governor Katie Hobbs' Runbeck Election Service has been named as recipients of Sinaloa cartel bribes with deeds of trust and phony mortgages, untraceable bribes, corruption in as many as 20 states. Carrie Lake replied, they're running a Banana Republic-style third word operation that's even worse. It's like Cuba. You don't even show up to vote in Cuba. You already know the outcome before you go in, and that explains why my opponent didn't even campaign. This brave woman just exposed all the criminal activity in Arizona, especially voter fraud, and how corrupt Katie Hobbs is makes Hunter look like a novice. Credible proof of election fraud and bribed election officials. Explosive testimony at the Senate elections and House oversight hearings in Arizona alleges judges, cops, and government officials have been bribed by the Sinaloa cartel. Elections in Maricopa County, which is Phoenix, have been rigged since 2004. I mean, they're not making this up. That was testimony
In a courtroom.
under oath, and no one's covered it. Have you heard it anywhere except maybe Fox and like talk shows?
No.
I mean, not talk shows. I mean podcasts. Talk shows aren't going to cover it.
No.
My God, hard to believe. Changing times. Pennsylvania Chick-fil-A has a new rule. The Chick-fil-A restaurant in Royersford, Pennsylvania, has now put out a rule that says unaccompanied minors are no longer allowed to dine in the establishment after unruly children and teenagers continue to cause disruptions. Rowdy minors disrespecting employees, vandalizing the establishment after they're dropped off by their parents on the weekend. Here, you go have something to eat. We'll come back in a couple hours and pick you up or whatever. And you think, no. Quote, while we love being a community restaurant and serving guests of all ages, some issues need to be addressed. Unacceptable behaviors employees had to deal with. Kids and teens in loud conversations with a lot of explicit language, cursing at the staff, mocking the staff, vandalizing property, stealing stuff, walking through the drive-through lanes. We're a family restaurant, and this kid's behavior is just not acceptable. And then here's what's important. Parents, we're not blaming you. Children and teens are learning to navigate the world free from supervision and often push the boundaries. We simply can't let them push those boundaries anymore at our restaurant. We encourage you to talk to your children and ask about behaviors they have seen and perhaps participated in. The cell phone. What? Again, here we go again. The parents aren't causing this. This is causing this. Kids are doing their own life with this thing. This is their boundary. This is their established behavior. What are the other kids doing? What are they doing around I mean, this is it.
Cameron,
Yeah.
are you tired of arriving to surprises at your weekend cabin?
You know, I was going to go up this weekend, and I didn't want to be surprised.
You have a mountain home you're having trouble maintaining?
Yeah?
All right. Soon I will.
You do too?
Call North Georgia Intendancy. We can manage your North Central Georgia vacation, weekend, or rental house so you can relax at yours. Visit us at ngaintendancy.com or call 770-595-6664. That's 770-595-6664 for ngaintendancy.com.
And we are so grateful to have them as a sponsor. And again, go to thekimmershow.net. And you can link on to everything if you want to be a sponsor or help us get a little Venmo, or we have our post office box, and I check it almost every day, even though we don't get anything on every day. But we're happy to, whatever we
Rocco
receive,
brings up a good point. The latest rumor is that Fetterman is brain dead. And they're hiding him from the public until the August, because in August they don't have to have a special election or something.
So you're going to try and hide him until August without him voting on any bills?
Well, he's in the hospital. I guess is he still in the hospital?
Yes. No one's seen him. And by the way, the wife went on vacation. Did you see that?
She went
took
back
off.
to Brazil. And she's a cross-dressing, a switch hitter, bisexual Brazilian star. She went back to Brazil or Colombia or
for
whatever.
Carnival or something.
Yeah, she left him. She left. Well, what does he know? He doesn't know anything. He's brain dead. He's been brain dead before he ran for Senate.
He's living in
I
Pennsylvania.
mean, what a disgrace. But again, the Democrats will do that because they want to win. And because they won, thank you, Georgia, they have been doing what we've been seeing for 2 years. because the Democrats will win.
2 more years.
They'll elect that guy. And we were in it for another 4 years, because the 2 years before our other senator has another 4 years before he gets thrown out, and then 6 years before the one we just selected gets thrown out. So again, thank you, Georgia. But again, Democrats win by doing whatever is necessary. If you think you're too good to get into that process, then you're screwing the rest of the country.
No, you get the government you deserve.
That's right. If you don't vote to get rid of them, sometimes it's not important to vote for the thing that's very best for you, for the thing. Getting rid of them is the best thing.
I know. It's naive.
Anyway, it's not even close.
I can sense their frustration, but at some point you got to live in the real world.
This is real. Look what they've done to us. Not only the critical race theory in schools, kids. My God, what's happened to the families with the COVID business and the shutdowns for 2 years? It's just
Holy cow!
What happened?
Well, did you see what there's been so much pressure put on the publisher of Roald Dahl's children's books?
Yeah, he changed his
He's
mind.
changed his mind.
Yeah.
Guess what? They're now going to do it to the James Bond books.
What?
They're going to make him. They're going to take out
What's
the
so
offensive
offensive
stuff.
about
The
James-
whole. Are you kidding me? The way he treats women, the way they talk about minorities, and the way they go into third world countries. There's be nothing left.
Who gave them permission to do that?
I don't know. Last installments of the Bond series, 70th anniversary. It's a reissue. The Telegraph reporting that Ian Fleming Publications Limited, which owns the rights, commissioned a sensitivity review, a beta male pussy review of the Bond novels to find out if the contents failed to meet contemporary standards.
You know what?
Why don't we go back and do the Three Musketeers while we're at it, too?
Here's what we need to do. We need to have somebody do a new retake of Goldfinger or
Goldfinger.
Just pick one of the first James Bond movies.
Dr. No.
Dr. No. And do it in ways that is totally sensitive now to the needs of women and minorities.
Pussy, I will take
All right, here
my
we go.
drink
Here we
now.
go. Here's what. Every book that comes out will have this disclaimer. This book was written at a time when terms and attitudes which might be considered offensive by modern readers were commonplace. A number of updates have been made in this edition while keeping as close to the possible with the original text. One of the things is that the N-word, which Fleming used to refer to black people when he was writing during the 50s and 60s, has been almost entirely expunged from the revised text. They didn't define what almost entirely meant. It's been changed to black person or black man. I don't remember him doing the N-word. Yeah, you can take the N-word out. I don't
have a problem.
Even though, you know what? He wrote it, leave it in there.
It's what he wrote.
Are we changing
change
Plato?
Tom Sawyer now and Huckleberry Finn? And,
we got to change Socrates and stuff.
Apparently.
I was watching. There was a Twitter.
How about all the gay sex from the freaking Greek literature and
What Herodotus used to say about other people, like the Egyptians or things. Oh my God, they being up in arms today.
I don't
What were you
remember.
saying, Flounder?
No, I was watching Twitter. There was a comedy guy on there this weekend, and he was talking about the N-word. And he was a white guy, and he was telling a joke about how he was with his black friend who was using the N-word.
Yeah.
And he goes, not the N-word. He was actually saying the N-word. And he goes, that's our phrase, not yours.
Yeah. Well, again, I don't know. Speaking of bad language, any other update on that? Or you done with that? You want to play the Bill Burr? You want to play the Bill Burr thing?
What was I supposed to update? What?
No, you were talking. I was wondering whether you had anything more on the issue.
I just got in depth of what words they were changing.
Okay. You want to play the Bill Burr thing? Do you know about that, Pete? Were you on that one? Bill Burr, a comedy
No, I
bit,
did not see that one.
And it's got some bad words in it. It's got a couple F-bombs in there, I think. But it's not a lot, but it's like 2 or 3 things in there.
Bill.
And again, it's Bill Burr, and he's talking about... I think he was talking about statistics, and I don't know how he got started on it, but you'll see clearly that he was talking about the way you can use statistics to kind of try to change people's minds. So Bill Burr right here.
Here we go.
They're either totally for it or completely against it. They either go nuts and start screaming, right? Or they start throwing out those stats. Actually, you increase your chances of getting shot by 80% the second you get a gun in the house. Really? What, because I'm going to load it and shower with it? Like, The fuck? I know it's dangerous. You get a pool in your backyard, you immediately increase your odds of drowning in your backyard, right? You couldn't do that before. Now you step on a rake and you go. No, I'm telling you. I don't buy into any of that shit. Stats are so...
That's my step on
And you go. Now, do we care about the Woody Harrelson thing? We just briefly mentioned it's on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can we get that sound? He was on Saturday Night Live, and by the way, for the record, Woody Harrelson, to me, if I hear Woody Harrelson or see if I think of him playing Woody on Cheers, okay?
Yeah.
And his character on Cheers, and that's the first I ever remember his character being in a public actor. Now, he may have been doing stuff on before that. I think that was his debut as an actor was on Cheers. And he played a silly, old country,
Woody Boyd from
simple-minded-
Hanover.
Yeah,
He was from New England.
yeah, but he played
Small town
a
in
simple-minded guy. He, wasn't very bright. He got easily hoodwinked, and he was, totally immature and everything else, working at the bar. Then all of a sudden, he starts doing these acting roles, including as a murderer, and then the basketball.
Natural Born Killers.
And frankly, and he played the guy who got shot in the wheelchair, the porn king.
Yeah.
With the girl who sang the song whose boyfriend killed himself.
Who was it?
Courtney Hole. Courtney Hole shot her boyfriend shot himself. Courtney Hole, and she was in the movie
You're getting there.
with the guy.
That's how his mind
the
works right here.
pornography Guy.
We're seeing how his mind works.
Oh God, it's right there. It's right there. And they shot him, and he was in a wheelchair, and they talk like this. I'll get it.
Okay.
Anyway, but I've never been impressed with him as particularly as an actor.
Oh, he can be good at times.
But I keep thinking of him as Woody from the bar.
He was good, and you saw it, Flan, the one where the Texas Rangers
True
going after what was it Bonnie and Clyde with Kevin Costner. He was good as his sidekick.
Yeah, and then there was
my God, I'd forgotten.
It's on Netflix. You haven't seen it though. It's on Netflix.
No,
yeah.
but I remember.
You
I
would
remember
like
that
it.
role.
It's good.
I must have read something about it because I remember that role. It was and Costner. I haven't seen the movie, but I remember I'd like to see that version of it.
He was also, he was really good in True Detective with Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah. Anyway, Woody Harrelson, he was guest hosting on Saturday Night Live, which I haven't watched in 30 years or more. And he was, this is so funny. The idiots in the audience didn't get it. He was basically making fun of them and mocking liberals with their communistic follow dear leader and get your COVID China shot, but it didn't come from China. It came from New England someplace, apparently. Follow the leader, the dear leader, to take your shots and don't complain about the government and da-da-da-da-da. And I don't think they ever realized until maybe afterwards when they got home and saw it open up on social media that they'd been had. And the reason they didn't know they were being laughed at by Woody Harrelson is when he did this.
So the movie goes like this. The biggest drug cartels in the world get together and buy up all the media and all the politicians and force all the people in the world to stay locked in their homes, and people can only come out if they take the cartel's drugs and keep taking them over and over. I threw the script away. I mean, who is going to believe that crazy idea?
And they didn't get it.
And they didn't get it. They didn't get it until all of a sudden, oh my God, and then their phones exploded.
Their
with people,
elite New York audience
Yeah.
are the smartest among us.
and they didn't get it. He was mocking all of them,
yeah.
which is a shame because he should have gotten an uproarious laugh. That was well, it wasn't that funny, but
Well,
it was
it's funny too because the music performer Saturday night was Jack White, and he's a big advocate of the vaccine and all that stuff. So
Which gets us to, what's that country singer I was supposed to be telling you about? Wears a cowboy hat. He was in the Peyton Manning
Paisley,
commercial.
Brad
Brad Paisley. Which
Yeah.
I don't know. He could walk in the room right now, and I wouldn't know him except for that
I
stupid
wouldn't
commercial.
recognize him probably.
But anyway, he's the one that went on stage with Dr. Jill Biden, telling everybody they had to go get the shot,
Yeah.
5,000 shots a year. Just
Yeah.
a big promoter of that. And so he sold out to the government on that. Someone called him basically he's bought and paid for by the federal government. Turn your phone off.
Oh,
We're trying to do a show here.
You know what? I'm going to answer it because it might be my dentist. Real quick,
That's
sorry.
more
Hello.
And we're back on.
Are we back on YouTube too?
Yes. So
It says starting soon here on mine.
we are back. Kimmer is taking a phone call with his dentist at the moment.
He's taking
so
a dump.
right now, yeah. So right now,
Yeah,
me
so
and
it's
Pete will entertain you.
Yeah, I'm going to entertain you. Da, 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 da. It doesn't say, it says show starting soon here on YouTube, so I don't know if we're back on YouTube or not. Maybe on Rumble or whatever. You see us say, ha, 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 ha. Oh, wait a minute. It's just me. We're back. Anyways, how you been there, Flounder? Everything okay?
Life is good. Had a relaxing weekend. So I'm going to ask you about your move.
Oh, God.
So what's the big project to work on first?
Everything. And my sister goes, well, my birthday's coming up Thursday. Your birthday's coming up 2 weeks after that. Why don't we just meet up there around your place and we'll let everybody see your new place in a couple weeks? I go, ain't nobody coming to my place for 2 months, much less 2 weeks from now. There's boxes everywhere. There's no way I can have people over in 2 weeks.
When do you think you'll have everything kind of set up for obviously you kind of live out in the sticks now, so when?
Never.
No.
That'll never. No, actually, I'm an adult now. I have a spare bedroom with a spare bed. I have never had that.
Now, would you use that? Would you convert that into your office?
No, I already have an office.
So, okay. So
There's 3 bedrooms, so I have an office that
What-
overlooks the meadow and the creek and everything. It's nice.
So that's where you'll do your writing, or?
That's where I'll do my procrastinating. That's where I will sit telling myself I'm going to start writing.
Like in Funny Farm, the room
Yeah.
where he has upstairs, and
But he just sits there.
he starts playing with the bird.
Yeah. I don't know if you've seen Wednesday yet, but she's writing a novel, and it's the old fashion where she types it and she takes a piece of paper out and sets it into a pile next. Nobody does that. You'd have to rewrite everything. Oh God, where was that? You got about 40 pages in, and then you got to change all the pages after that. That's why you do it on a damn computer,
Computer, not a
change it like
typewriter.
that. And then you find out that you can't change the what do you call it when you're trying to put it from Pages to Word to Amazon to something.
Oh, like a PDF document?
Oh, it's hell.
I'm
I'm sorry. We just went on with the show there without you.
You should have. It's a good thing.
We had a fascinating segment on moving here.
Well,
that you
who
just
had
missed.
the Kimmer's dental problems on the bingo card?
Let's see.
I'm so sorry.
I hate this. I think it was Sophia.
Oh, God. Anyway,
We're talking about Brad Paisley.
Brad, so what did he do
He
now?
sold out to the federal government with the clot shot, and now he's come out basically with an homage on the 1-year anniversary of the Ukrainian invasion, Russian invasion. He's come out with a pro-Zelensky just homage to the great leader himself, and the country fans are going batshit crazy about this. You've completely sold out.
Ukraine is not an example of the most glorious free democracy
Half
in
of them are
America in the
Nazis.
world today.
Okay.
He shuts down religion. He shuts down the freedom of the press. This guy's a former TV comedian, who's is a strong man.
Explain this. This is, Ken, what's going on in Ukraine is if Southerners like me, at this point in history, walked around dressed like William Tecumseh Sherman and did his salutes and thought he was a great leader.
Yeah.
That's what's happened in Ukraine, where you got a third of them who think the Nazis were good.
Yeah. Yeah.
These are the same Nazis that rolled through there and killed all of them.
You also have 25% who are still considered themselves Russians. I don't. Again, the war shouldn't be going. How this has gone on for a year
There should be
is
peace.
beyond me.
Even the Chinese are saying there should be peace now.
I can't believe it. And innocent. Hundreds of thousands of people are dead. Children, families. It's unbelievable. It's a horrible, horrible thing. But it's not my war. I'm not. I wouldn't send my kids over there. It's just not our thing. It's in Europe. It's not like it's Canada. If it was Canada, it's right here. But it's not here. It's across the freaking sea.
Who's the tall white guy that does the Pentagon briefings or something? You know him.
Oh.
I don't know if he's ex-general or something like that. Tall. I think he's a general. And one of the reporters actually was questioning him. He goes, here's the map. Here's the map since 1950 on, and it shows how NATO, and I'm a big fan of NATO and think it's what it should be, how NATO has encroached closer and closer to Russia. Russia has not gone west.
Yeah.
In fact, they've pulled back from the Warsaw
after
Pact.
the satellite countries left and Russia
So
became
we've got
just
closer and closer, which I have no problem with, because we want to curtail
Right,
Russia. I
right,
understand that Baltic states
They're
should
the
be in
danger.
NATO because we need to protect them.
They're the threat.
If Russia rolls into Baltic, we will go to
It's
war.
over.
I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
But we've been encroaching on them. We've getting closer. I can see why the Russians would be paranoid about that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So the reporter's asking the guy, yes, he goes, "Oh, we haven't been doing that." He goes, "You could look at the map and see that we've been doing this." He goes, "Well, I don't know why Putin would do the things he's done." He goes, "I'm not talking about Putin. I'm talking about what we've done for the last 40 years.
Yeah.
We've gotten closer and closer." And the guy was denying it was even happening.
There you are.
When it was on the map
There you
right
are.
there, that what was going on. They want a war. Now you have the Chinese have taken over the leadership of the world by saying, look, there should be a 12-point peace conference, blah, blah. They're
Yeah.
the leaders now. And what is our government doing?
Who
More
came
war,
out
more
with a
war,
peace
more
plan?
war.
Yeah, yeah. Who came out with a peace plan? Communist China.
Why are we? It's like Orwell says, there has to be perpetual war in order for the government to have complete control. And what are we in now? Ever since we invaded Iraq, there's been perpetual war.
Yeah.
The longest war we've ever been involved in, Afghanistan, just ended in
Yeah.
a disaster.
Yeah.
And then we can jump immediately into another war.
Yeah. Made our president the biggest gun dealer in the history of the world. And you can't trust anything that's come out of those people whatsoever. I've got a big kick out of it. There could be hope for the future. There could be hope for the future, and it could be in the form of a 2-year-old. In Kentucky, deputies were looking for a fugitive wanted on drug charges and a bunch of other warrants as well. So the Whitley County Sheriff's deputy arrived in Williamsburg, Kentucky, to serve a warrant. As they investigated and tried to find the fugitive, 45-year-old woman named Tina Hicks, nobody in the house would say whether she was there, whether she is in or out, whether it be in minute. They wouldn't describe her being there whatsoever. A 2-year-old boy stands up, puts his hands on his hips. He's 2. And he says, "It is good to be honest. We shouldn't lie." And he says she's hiding in there next to the bathroom. And son of a bitch, she was. And they caught her. And the sheriff's department put it on Facebook. The child is a very brave, honest little toddler. They arrested her thanks to the kid. Yeah. Meth possession, drug paraphernalia. The kid was visiting the home, didn't live there, was not in any danger. He was healthy, intelligent, no way appeared to be abused or anything. He was just at the wrong place at the wrong time. So, of course, he just, went home with his visiting family. But he was there, so no, she's sitting there.
I can safely say honesty is not always the best policy.
I wouldn't want to be there.
When I was a young man, there's 5 years difference between me and my younger brother. So I'm 10, he's about 5. We're at the Riches at South DeKalb Mall.
All right.
And he was eating a hot dog, and he just ate the hot dog, and he had the bun in his hand. And I sit there and watch him shove the bun underneath the escalator handrail where it goes into the wall. And I'm sitting there watching him do that. Next thing we know, the escalator has stopped. Bells are going off. And Mom comes out, and everybody the Riches guys come out, and they're all looking at, what happened? And I said, well, Keith shoved a hot dog under there. Oh, my God. My mother grabbed me. No, you didn't. You didn't see that.
I didn't see anything.
Pulls me outside. Me and the whole family were outside in the car, and Mom had to go back in and talk to him. And they got it working again. It was no big deal. God knows how much it would have cost if he'd have broken it. And I remember my sister saying, "You can't say things like that." I said, "But we're told not to, tell a lie." I was just telling the truth and Mom goes, "You can't always do that." I don't understand.
They're kids, when I was, my older brother Gene was 2.5 years older than I was, and when I was about 7 or 8, I guess maybe, because I had a girl's name and I was trying to prove I was a boy, so I was a president of a swearing club. Okay, with my other little neighborhood friends when I was like 8 or something, and my brother told my parents on me that he says bad words. So, anyway, a couple of funny memes are going around. Can I do it very quickly? We live in a world, and by the way, I've got more stories here, and I got sports stuff. Are we doing? We keep going here for a while. I guess we're still talking. We live in a world where your kid cannot pretend to be an Indian, but a grown man can pretend to be a woman.
Right.
Kevin Sorbo, if only there was some way to transfer chemicals without the risk of derailing trains, like a massive pipe or something. And there's under the picture of a woman who just woke up and her hair's all a mess and she's sleepy-eyed. And the comment is, "You ever take a nap so good that you thought you missed the school bus, but it's Sunday and you're 32. Yeah, you gotta love it.
Somebody's calling these men who are mentally ill and think they're women. They're calling it dressing up in woman face. And
For God's
that's
sake.
Well,
Well,
that's
that
blackface.
makes sense.
It's woman
Blackface,
face.
woman face, yeah. That you're not really, that's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah, you're not a woman. I'm sorry. You can do
Yeah,
what
woman
you're not
face.
a woman.
Yeah, that's right.
And I don't have to play your game.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of games, I'll do a quick sports thing here or two. The ending of the Braves game. Bases loaded, 2 outs.
Yeah, good idea, Manfred. That's a great idea. I got no problem with the pitch clock, and that's all they need. But no, they had to go a step
go to
further
batter
and make
clock.
it NFL where we don't know what a catch is, basically.
Yeah.
The thing is, if you don't know, you have 15 seconds from the time the catcher throws the ball back to you. When it hits your glove, the 15-second clock starts. You got 15 seconds to throw. That's all you need. If your ass isn't in the batter's box as the batter in 15 seconds, he throws the pitch, and that's your fault.
Right.
No, but at 8 seconds to go, 7 seconds to go, you got to be locked in the box and looking at the pitcher. Well, so Eli Marrero, the smart catcher, not Eli, I forget his name, whoever was behind the plate for, who the hell we were playing, the Yankees. He basically stands up.
Boston.
It's Boston, you're right. He stands up. So the batter is distracted. He looks back, well, they're not going to throw a pitch. The damn catcher's standing up, so he's not looking at the pitcher. It's bases loaded, bottom of the ninth, game tied. They brazen scored 3 runs to tie it up. It's 3-2 count, and the umpire calls the game.
Yeah.
Because
he wasn't ready.
Because he wasn't ready, even though the catcher wasn't ready either. You do that during the regular season, and there's going to be everything that someone has in their hand is going to hit that field.
I don't know whether that ref or whether the ump has made a public comment. I wonder if he did it on purpose to make a point.
No, he's been told to do it. No, they've been told to letter of the law in spring training to get them used to it. This is not the umpire's fault. This is Manfred and the Major League idiots running Major League Baseball. You want to turn off a fan base? I'm telling you what, if I pay how much is it to take a family of 4 to a ball game?
$100, $250
it's
probably.
$400 probably if
Parking
you get good
and
seats.
Snacks and beer and
Right.
probably.
I pay $400 or $500, and I'm sitting there watching the game, and my team's up there with 3-2 count, 2 outs, bottom of the ninth, the game tied, bases loaded, and the umpire goes, no, you weren't looking at the pitcher, you're out.
I don't think so.
I'm never going back to another ball game.
Well, I mean, when I remember that when Nixon made the speed limit 55 miles an hour, and a woman I worked with at the time got a ticket coming into work that next day doing 56, and the cop wrote down 56 on the ticket to make a point. You know, the judge is going to throw it out, obviously, but he did it to make a point. He gave her a ticket at 56 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Anyway, sounds
most of the time they give you 9 miles leeway on something like that.
Yeah.
But that's a stupid rule that baseball's put in there, and they're going to try and jam it down people's throats. It's going to cause people to throw things.
Yeah.
It's going to cause people not to go to the games if they think they can end like that.
The pitch count I can see, unless there's a reason. If the catcher's not doing the right signals, then can he call time and start over? I mean,
are you going to have the catcher playing around doing stupid things to distract the batter?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, it's.
It's a stupid rule.
Here we go again. They're trying to change the game. Next thing, they're going to change the ball again.
That's one of the great things about baseball, that it's not like the NFL, that you don't have a flag on every play.
Yeah.
You have the umpire making the calls, and that's going to end soon too.
Yeah, right.
All the balls and strikes calls will make it even fairer.
Yeah.
But this is asking for trouble, and it's asking people to get turned off from baseball if it's happened.
Quick comment, if you would, sir. Manny Machado's 30 years old. He is with the Padres. He opted out of his $300 million 10-year contract he signed only 3 years ago. Manny Machado now has just been re-signed by the Padres for $470 million over 15 years. The man's 30. Is this guaranteed?
Yes.
Jesus. I mean, that's $500 million. Well, you can't tell me that's worth it.
No,
You can't say that.
It's not worth it. But if they win their first World Series ever, is that worth it?
But what kind of TV money and ad money can you get a
I
franchise?
don't know where the Padres are getting all
pay
this
for
money,
that?
because they've done several contracts.
And they've got Soto, and they've got Tatis back again.
Well,
Tatis
Soto wants $500.
Soto's going to get $500 million.
No, he's not. You know who will?
He's going to get from the Yankees.
Shohei Ohtani will get $500 million.
Ohtani, yeah. Is he going to go for? He leave the Angels?
Why wouldn't
he? Wants a chance to go play in the world. He's going to.
Either the
Ohtani's
Dodgers.
got probably 2-3 years left.
Dodgers or New York.
Yeah.
He wants to get out.
Anyway, $500 million.
No, Shohei will get
And
10
he's 30.
years, $500 million.
Golly. Let's see. Serena Williams is getting the Jackie Robinson Award for the toughest bully in tennis, I think, or something.
She gets that's insulting.
It's unbelievable.
This woman got the Jackie Robinson.
Selfish, bullish.
Maybe for what happened for her when
hate-filled.
she was first coming up, but not now.
I don't get it.
She's the establishment now. She's the bully now.
Yeah.
Jackie Robinson, are you kidding me?
Get it. Jackie Robinson, who, by the way, was probably
Risked his life.
and the most decent, mild-mannered, I'll take the abuse, Connie Mack or whoever, who's the guy who signed him, the Dodger
Connie
guy.
Mack.
Yeah, it wasn't Connie.
Branch Rickey.
Branch Rickey. And Branch Rickey told him, you're going to get nothing but abuse the whole time, and he said, here we go.
But
Anyway.
and Jackie wasn't the type to take that.
No, he was
made
a tough
himself
guy.
to take it.
Yeah, his wife has said many times that he was ready to explode and really hurt somebody, but he was a man. He was a leader. He was a real hero.
And that started. I agree with this. That started the civil rights movement, to me.
Oh, sure made people think about it. When all of a sudden you go into a
Before
ballpark
Rosa-
and you're clapping for a black guy that you thought, oh my God, back in days when men wore hats and ties to the ball game, and
To me, that's the beginning of it.
Yep, I like it. Okie dokie, cool. Let's see what else. Anything else? Oh, what's this on Heineken beer? Did you mention
Heineken is
what have they done now?
Because what's his face? Bill Gates has bought a huge share of now Heineken, and everyone's thinking,
why do you suppose he's going to do
this is
that?
a guy-
farmland in Bavaria.
This is a
or
guy who
something?
likes to put things in things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why not put this mRNA thing into your beer? Why not put it in the water like they did with fluoride? Did you have a choice in that?
No.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying you didn't have much of a choice in it. Now, did you?
And this is, you're talking about the vaccine, antivirus type
This
stuff?
is a man who's
and-
wanted to curtail human population for 30 years now. Do you put anything past him? I'm not I bought some Heineken the other day, non-alcoholic. Once
Yeah.
I drank that, I ain't drinking any more Heineken. Are you kidding me? No. You don't know what's in some of this
I
crap
know.
anymore.
That's just, and again, how do they get away with it without having to pass some kind of federal something investigation or
Yeah, like federal regulators
policy
aren't
permit?
paid off.
Yeah, right.
And like
USDA
big pharma,
people.
like we said, the
all
guys
go
who are
work for 'em.
regulating big pharma
Yeah.
will all get out of the government and get jobs at big
Yeah,
pharma. So
yeah.
they're not going to do anything to them.
Yeah. A quick word from one of our fine camera sponsors, and then the 1937 woman, which led to all kinds of bad things, and the siege at Wounded Knee. A couple of things in history that might have some
bury my heart
significance.
there.
I bury my heart in my well. Looking for a different ride? Swapping your whip, maybe? Swap my well. Whip, of course, is a colloquial expression for a ride. At swapmywhip.com. What a great idea. This is so cool. Go to swapmywhip.com, and you might find a like-minded car owner who's got a car that he said, boy, I'd love to trade it on what I've always wanted, a 92 Camaro or whatever. And you've got one, or my friend does, or this, bing, bang, boom. No middleman, no dealers, no salespeople. You work out your own deal, find out what's available, make your own thing right at swapmywhip.com, avoiding the middleman entirely. And it's not just cars, obviously, trucks and SUVs, boats, jet skis, ATVs, off-road vehicles, go-karts, and probably fancy bicycles. I mean, whatever. If it rides, you can do it. Swapmywhip.com. And if you use the coupon code KIMMER, K-I-M-M-E-R, it's 180 days of free premium listings on swapmywhip.com. And we appreciate them very, very much. A couple of birthdays. Kate Mara.
Who?
Kate Mara. I get a little tingly when I think of Kate Mara.
She's got a body of a 12-year-old boy.
Well, she kind of changed a little bit. She's 40 today. She was in House of Cards, in Shooter. Her sister, by the way, Kate Mara, sister is Rooney Mara. She was in The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, among other things. Their dad, the Maras, the Mara family, is the owner of the Giants, the New York Giants football team, the founder and owner. Their mom is the Rooney family, which is the co-owner and founder of the owners of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, what a family, a franchise. The Giants and the Steelers football clubs are that one family.
I know.
That's unbelievable.
Incestuous.
And both girls are actresses. which is, I don't know why I find that amazing after living and growing up like
She was
that.
one of them was in the Fantastic Four, a really bad version of it. They're all been bad.
Barbara Babcock, remember her on with Daniel? She married to Daniel J. Travanti from
She
Hill
died.
Street Blues. Barbara Babcock's 86. It says here.
She just died last week.
Oh, she did.
I think so. I think she
Was
just
it Barbara
died.
Babcock?
Botchko.
Barbara who?
Botchko.
Oh,
She was
Botch-
Stephen Botchko's wife.
no, she was Daniel J. Travanti's wife. He played
But
the captain.
she was married to Stephen Botchko, the guy who did the show.
Oh, I thought she was married to
producer.
Daniel J. Travanti in real life.
She died on February 18th, 2023.
I'll be
Yeah,
damned.
she
Well,
just died.
sorry, Barbara. Grant,
Bosson, wasn't that her
Yeah.
name? What was her name?
Barbara Babcock. Barbara Boson is the one you're thinking of.
That's who died.
Well, Barbara Bosson is the one who died on February 18th,
Barbara
2023.
She was
Babcock.
Botchko. So
Her
Barbara
spouse was Stephen
Oh,
Botchko.
by the way, I've got this all wrong. She has nothing to do with Hill Street Blues. Disregard.
Start again.
Let's go. As I was saying, our birthday list includes Grant Show from Melrose Place, 61 today. The hideous Chelsea Clinton, a millionaire at 43. James Worthy, Basketball Hall of Famer, 63 today. The Falcons' former tight end Tony Gonzalez, 47, owns all the major tight end records in the Hall of Fame.
Overrated.
But I never, when he was playing, I never really looked at him like I would.
Pretty boy.
Mike Dichter or somebody. For some reason I don't know. Or
No,
some of the
I
famous
just
tight ends.
don't. No.
Anyway, but good for him. He's Tony Gonzalez is 47. Ralph Nader is 89. And I what a fun story. I can link myself to Ralph Nader in two swirls of the swirl. Ralph Nader, of course, very famous for, he was a consumer advocate. Ralph Nader, the consumer advocate, is 89 years old. He made himself famous, among other things, by writing Unsafe at Any Speed. And that was a book, research about the Corvair automobile that Chevy made, the Corvair, back in the mid-60s, early mid-60s. And as it turns out, the Corvair was a piece of crap. It looked the front end looked almost the same as the back end. Coming or going, it was almost the same car. It was like a 4-cylinder car, very low power. Wasn't made very well, but it looked cute. It looked cool. And when I was at Camp Pendleton, California, I was trying to get around or get into town.
Get your bingo card ready.
It was a nightmare. I mean, when you're in the Marines, you have no money. I was making $100 a month or whatever, and so if you want to get into town, you have to walk a long way to a bus stop and wait at the Camp Pendleton bus stop. You might wait an hour, and the first bus that goes by is probably already mobbed from all the kids, all the guys from way out in the outer skirts. So you probably wait 2 or 3. I'm not making this up. You might wait 2 hours to get into town to walk around in a daze because everybody hates you, and you go watch a cowboy movie for a couple hours, and then you wait for another bus to get back to the camp. I mean, it was
No
just
joke, folks. No joke.
no. So finally, I said. So I think I called my parents or whatever, and I said, can you help me buy a car? And they said, sure. So I looked at an ad in the paper, and there was a lieutenant on the base, and he had a Corvair Monza convertible, and it was blue and a white top and white interior, 6-shift. And it was a Corvair Monza convertible, and I bought it for, I think it was like $400 or $600 or something like that. And I drove it for as long as I could until the damn thing just died. It was really a piece of crap, and it just died on me, so it basically turned out to be worthless. But the Corvair Monza, which was called by Ralph Nader, Unsafe at Any Speed, and Ralph Nader, a link therefore to the camera. There we are. Anyway, Ralph Nader, 89 today. Sorry. Joanne Woodward won the Oscar for Three Faces of Eve, former to the late Paul Newman widow. Joanne Woodward is 93 today. Okie-dokie. A couple of historical notes, and I got to get my phone ready here because I have a little note of interest, which I think might be of some interest, possibly not. I'll find out here in a moment if I can only find it. Here we go. Okay. In 1922, the 19th Amendment to the Constitution passed, upheld by the U.S. Supreme Court, giving women the right to vote. Other things as well, like talking out loud, being flirty, being slutty, naughty, cheating with other men. As a result, well, it was all covered under the thing there. As a result, an actual posting in the history books on this day in 1937, because of the amendment giving women the right to vote, On this same day in 1937, the reaction to it, there was this modern woman theory. A new modern type of woman was introduced during the 20s. These women spent more time with their hair and makeup than times past. According to one pastor, he warned the 20th century woman spends more of the time at the card table than she does at the kitchen stove. He further explained this type of woman may not know very well how to flip a flapjack without the grease splattering all over the house. The bishop went on to say women want to leave obey out of the marriage ceremony. Likewise, he said, yes, these giddy-headed, shallow-brained 20th century flappers go around wanting God's plan for the household changed. Listen to me, my girl. If you do not want to obey that man, then stay single and get a job bossing a section gang, for you will never make the right kind of wife and mother. The bishop strongly advocated the mother and father roles of times past, what was considered traditional before this time. He also commented that more people these days know more about the suggestive jazz songs of today than the words of the King David Psalms. 1937. And then on this day in 1951, from the Supreme Court, the 22nd Amendment was passed. And by the way, I don't really think I ever really officially knew this, but it turns out the 22nd Amendment limits the President of the United States to serving a total of 10 years. Not 2 terms consecutively, but 10 years total. So they assumed that, like happened with LBJ and Lyndon Johnson and John Kennedy, when he got killed, the vice president became president, but still had the right to run 2 more times. So they spelled it out that they allowed for that possibility, plus the 2 terms, and it didn't say whether they were back to back. So Trump can run again unless he's been convicted of something. But anyway, it was 10 years, not 2 consecutive terms. Okay, boys, 1883. What is Oscar Hammerstein famous for in 1883? He patented the cigar rolling machine. Okay, I didn't know that. 1982. Wayne Williams, convicted of killing 2 of the 28 dead black children and youngsters over a 2-year period in Atlanta. And now there's some doubt about all of it.
He did it.
I think he did it.
Not all of them, but he did most of them.
Yeah, he did most of them. Didn't he come up?
It sure ended quick after they arrested him.
They tend to stop there. 1973, the American Indian movement began an occupation at Wounded Knee, South Dakota. It would end 3 months later. The Oglala Sioux had complained that their I didn't know this is why the Wounded Knee debate debacle started. The Oglala Sioux had complained that their tribal chief was corrupt and abusive, and they were complaining about it, and they just started protesting. Protesting natives shot it out with federal marshals who showed up and surrounded the settlement at Wounded Knee. The Indians fired on slow-moving cars, and any low-flying aircraft that got too close, they shot at them. 2 Sioux Indian men were killed. Several more were wounded before they reached a settlement that they would allow them to investigate scores of treaties broken over the years. Well, I guess they got to the bottom of that. Yeah. By the way, the original slaughter at Wounded Knee was at the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation, and in 1890, federal troops killed 300 men, women, and children as a final warning to hostile Indians. Chief Sitting Bull was already killed by tribal police, and federal troops were ordered to put down any more uprisings, and the slaughter at Wounded Knee was basically the beginning of the end, saying, that's it, we're done, no more uprisings, live on the reservation or die.
We've taken your guns, you can't stop us, we'll do whatever we want to you.
And maybe the pneumonia on the blankets they gave them was, the smallpox and whatever. I mean, I assume there was probably some truth to some of that.
Federal government,
at least, yeah.
Just
anyway.
Him. Okay, here's something that'll blow your mind.
All right, sir.
All right. The samurai.
Yes.
Samurai officially abolished in Japan in 1867.
All right, sir.
All right. The first ever fax machine was invented in 1843.
43, 67, all right.
Abraham Lincoln was assassinated in 1865.
All right, 67, 43, 65.
Which means there was a 22-year window in which a samurai could have sent a fax to Abraham Lincoln.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. The fax machine was invented. That's impossible. There was no phone.
They had some kind of a fax machine in Greek times. They had a distant writer thing. It was connected by string and everything. And if you did something here...
That's the orange juice can on a string we did as kids.
No, you would write, and it would write automatic writer in the other room. It was a kind of version of their fax, an early
I'll be
version.
damned.
Yeah, the fax has been around a long time.
In fact, I just saw part of the Tom Cruise movie on the 47 Samurai that was on, or Ronin, or whatever it was, on the other
That's-
night.
No, that would be that's a little misinformation there. It'd be Keanu Reeves in 47 Ronin, and it was Tom Cruise in The Last Samurai.
The Last Samurai, that's
which
what
is
it
a good movie.
Yeah, that was a pretty good movie.
Ken Watanabe, and that
Yeah.
woman is beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what was the one where he killed the big monster, and the Asian guy took credit for it? Was that
47 Ronin?
I think so.
Yeah.
There was a big monster killing everybody, and it was Keanu.
I think it was him.
Yeah, it was Keanu Reeves was the one who killed the monster. And
That was okay movie.
I didn't see. I just watched a few months.
So we're talking about Ben Franklin's and Woolworths and Ridgeways the other day, Treasure Islands.
Yeah.
And Alan says he was laughing his ass off. He grew up in Gainesville, Georgia. He said they had an Otasco.
Oh my God! I remember Otasco.
I barely remember Otasco.
What the hell was the other one back then? Oh God, I'm trying to remember. Value Mart? No, Value City. Something. Oh
Yeah,
God.
there was a whole bunch of stuff. And every small town had one of those things, a Ben Franklin or
Yeah.
something like that.
Five and dime.
By the way, Bill Gates says he's not a big beer drinker, but he's buying part of Heineken
Yeah. well,
anyway.
there you are.
So, did you know this? The sun is approximately 8 CVS receipts from the Earth.
I'm not sure what that means.
Most people don't know. Did you see what they're talking now that Alabama men's basketball should shut down for the rest of the season?
Oh my God! A couple of bad guys did something bad. One of the players was asked by another player. The player said, "Hey, can you bring me my gun?" He said, "Sure, here's your gun," and that's all he knew. And then because that gun was used in a murders, now they want to shut down the program?
Well, first of all, the coach misspoke and acted like it was no big deal, then had to apologize.
Well, it was a big deal, obviously.
And then guess what? Brandon Miller, the guy who gave the gun that killed the young woman,
yeah.
they thought it was funny to come out in the pregame ceremony, and he stood there, and he got out there like this, and he did this. And his teammate came up and frisked him.
Oh my God!
They thought that was funny.
A gun thing at the after
to
the
frisk him for a gun. After a woman, a young mother's
I've got your
dead.
gun right here. Oh my! Well, cancel him. Shut him down.
What the hell with him?
Yeah, screw him.
I'm sorry.
I can't
even
believe
Tim
it.
Brando went off on him, going, "Are you kidding me?" He says,
I can't believe I did.
Nate Oates, who's the asshole coach, the pat down pregame intro won't happen again. And Tim Brando says, I couldn't care how less
They
often
should-
it's been done before.
Yeah, they
I
should-
do think a little self-awareness is necessary and is sorely missing. Oates is Exhibit A.
God, I mean, who would even think of it? I mean, really, who would even think of that idea of being appropriate?
And think that's funny. The young woman's dead. And they're thinking it's funny to make gun jokes while they're out there on this.
Wow.
By the way, here's one to blow your mind. You talk
Right.
about the 90s and 30 years ago. MTV's debut
Yeah.
was closer in time to Pearl Harbor than today.
Oh my God.
1981, wasn't it?
It's 40 years. Yeah.
40 years.
Video killed the
Wow.
radio star.
Video killed.
It's 60 years from. Oh my God.
All right, here's a joke. It's a little off color.
All right.
A wedding in Glasgow, Scotland.
Screw it. I ain't big Jesus, me boyo.
That's Irish. I
That's
think.
sorry.
I whispered. Now you've insulted everyone east of Dublin.
laddie. It's brassing the me laddie. There you go.
I whispered to a guy next to me, isn't the bride a right ugly dog? Do you mind? That's my daughter you're talking about. I'm sorry. I didn't know you were her father. I'm not. I'm her fucking mother. Did you see the cover of Vogue?
Oh. Tell me about that. And then you didn't look at the cover of something which you're going to regret that you didn't when I gave it to you just a few minutes ago. But
No,
first,
it's
cover
Anna,
of Vogue.
Anna's on there. It's not her best
Anna,
picture.
Yeah, Anna Dupreis. What's her name?
And Florence Pugh's on
Anna
there, too,
Duras.
showing her boobies.
What's her name? What's her name?
Florence Pugh with her...
No, the other one. Anna
Anna de Armas.
de Armas. Yeah.
Oh, it's the
Yeah,
most
she's
beautiful one in the world.
It's the Hollywood
right now.
issue of Vanity Fair.
Yeah,
of
she-
all the stars, yeah.
Anyway, guess who's on the cover of Vogue Italia? Italy.
Vogue Italia.
If I put this up here right here, who is that?
Well, I don't know.
Who is that?
All right, hold on. Let me take one more. I'm sorry. I've just got to get my glasses.
All right, he's getting his glasses on. He's looking at her. You've called her one. You've called her one of the most beautiful women in the world. You think she's great. I think she's ugly. Always have.
That's not like Grace Kelly or Kathy Ireland or
Tom Brady's former wife.
Oh, I know. I don't think she's pretty. I think she's horrible.
Giselle Bundchen.
No, I heard about that story. Nobody recognized her because she's got a whole new devil look.
Well, just like Sam Smith and Rihanna in their red devil outfits. What is she wearing?
Get the devil outfit, and she looks like the devil. She's up there, with her flaming underarm.
What's on her head?
That's a red.
What does it look like coming out of her head?
Oh, she's got horns.
Horns.
She's got double. She got goat horns.
The O in Vogue, the O and G in Vogue, is superimposed behind her, and they look like devil horns.
By the way, for the record, I do not think she's attractive. She's the exact opposite of what I think is attractive.
Oh, okay. I thought you always said.
No. She's got a little blonde sister who's a mink. But no, she's not. No.
Okay, we got another AI thing.
Aha.
Okay, someone did a weather thing where you call up AI and ask them for the weather.
Okay.
So I say, well, you think it's going to rain later? And Smartass went, of course. We have a direct line to Mother Nature and her hourly forecast updates for the next 9 hours. We'll be sure to let you know when she decides to change her mind for the 10th time today. So the guy wrote back, can you give a snarky response to people asking if one of our games is going to be rained out? And it wrote back, let me check my crystal ball and get back to you. Oh, wait, I forgot. I'm not a meteorologist. You might want to check the weather app like the rest of us mere mortals.
That's the computer arguing and
so
mocking
he asked it again. He says, oh, don't worry. We've invested in some state-of-the-art waterproof baseballs, and the players have been practicing their doggy paddle just in case, rain or shine. We'll be playing ball.
Oh, man.
And he asked it again, and he says, well, if I had a time machine, I could tell you with absolute certainty if it was going to rain. But since I don't, I suggest you keep your eyes on the weather forecast and your fingers crossed.
Well, she tried to be a little nicer. She, notice I called the computer a she. The she AI sounds like a she. Snotty, kind of unsatisfied,
Snarky.
never really happy. Sorry. No respect, appreciate all you've been done for whatever. Sorry, and notice how she kind of eased off at the end because she this is unbelievable. I mean, they're making their own conclusions and mental. Oh my God.
Jack Pasebic got a guy writing him who knew the young lady, the witch, on the grand jury.
Oh, really?
Says that Coors worked briefly for my daughter at a restaurant in Alabama as a server. She wore a cape to work one day and cried when we told her she couldn't wait tables like that.
Oh, my God. Freaking freak. And they elected her.
They elected her. What were you looking over there for? Oh, the cat's up to something.
Yeah, he's snuggling up on the boxes again.
All right, Flounder, it's time for Bad Text Theater. Find it while I give us a truly tasteless joke of the day.
There we go.
Kimber, what is worse than a dead skunk on your piano?
2 dead skunks on your piano?
A diseased beaver on your organ.
Oh, my God. She got him by the organ.
All right, Flounder, what do we got here at Bad Text Theater?
The cat's trying to sneak into the
think
1-inch hole.
Insane.
Is it the one from January 25th?
January 25th. Yeah, we jumped up to that already.
Or-
All right. January
Because the last one we did was the Leslie Nielsen,
All right, Leslie Nielsen.
I think.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that was the last one. No.
We're doing the
Yeah, okay, we
podcast
just.
and kitty cats. Oh, he went into the underneath instead.
Okay, we're doing the 25th. You're right. So are you the blue guy or the black guy?
I'll be the black guy.
All right, I'm the blue guy. Camera focus. It's squirrel.
Okay.
What's the difference between a piano, a tuna, and a pot of glue?
I don't know.
You can tune a piano, but you can't piano a tuna.
What about the glue?
I knew you'd get stuck there.
Oh, God.
That's exactly what the second thing said. Oh, God. That's exactly what the reply was. Oh, God.
Bet it did.
All right, let's give him one more.
My lordy.
Did you already hang up?
Let's see here.
The next one.
Oh, my God. Look at the cat sneaked in. He was in the lower thing, and then he sneaked into the upper thing. How do you even run around back of the thing?
Gosh, these cats, they're going to catch on one day. Everybody's going to have one of these things. All right, you the first guy or the second guy?
I'll be the first guy.
All right.
What do you call a cult that's hard to get into?
I don't know. What do you call a cult that's hard to get into?
Difficult.
Oh, God.
All right, one
See,
more.
the cat went into hiding on that one.
One more. Let's go down to. Oh God, we got to go down. Okay. Oh, we already did that one about the cats. Let's see. Gosh, we had a few down there. Holy cow! Did we ever put jokes on here? Okay, we go down to February 17th.
All right. Is it the
Guy?
BS? No, we already did the BS.
Guy, another guy. February 17th.
All right. Is it the poem?
No, it's February 17th. Guy and other guy.
Oh, sorry, I was looking at the
It's all in
11th.
blue and white. I'm gonna put the cat
17th.
outside if you don't.
All right, I'll be the guy.
All right.
I'm thinking about asking my ex-wife to marry me again.
Why don't you?
I'm afraid she'll think I'm only after her money.
No, only after my money. No. It's only after my money.
Well, we got to do another one now since you fucked that one up. All right, I'm gonna do the. That's a man on his. Okay, I'm the man, and there's a wife, and there's a wife. I'm gonna be the man. All right.
Hold on, I'm trying.
I'm on my deathbed. You're next to me. You're my wife. All right.
So am I starting it?
No. I'm the man.
Oh
on the
yeah,
deathbed.
okay. So I'm the wife. Gotcha.
Oh my God.
You two, wait here until I get back. No. All right. Promise me after I'm gone, you'll marry Larry.
But I thought you hated Larry.
I do.
I got one more. The meme going around. I think my little friend Gretchen sent me this, and it's going all over the place. It's two memes. It's a man and a female, a younger guy and a younger woman, like 20s. The woman says, I assume they're married. The woman says, "What's wrong? I had a bad day and I need your oral support." You mean moral. You heard what I said. Anyway, boys, any final thoughts? I gotta go. You're killing